The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look at my soul. I've been afraid I would follow alone. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Welcome into a Monday edition of Running Point, and happy opening day if you're a fan of the Mahoning Valley Scrappers. Weather permitting, they start out tonight in West by God, Virginia, as they take on the West Virginia Black Bears from Morgantown. This field that they're playing in, gorgeous stadium, by the way, it is the home of the West Virginia Mountaineers. And when the Black Bears were part of the New York Penn League, they split their time with the Mountaineers playing in this home facility. It was built like 6 years ago. 3,500 seat stadium. Absolutely gorgeous. Everything is turf with the exception of the pitcher's mound. So think about Austintown Fitch, except the pitcher's mound is clay and everything else is turf, which is cool.
No, I haven't followed West Virginia baseball. Are they a postseason team? Is that gonna?
They'll be in the postseason.
I didn't know if they were good enough to make.
Yeah, and actually, I gotta look at the Black Bears roster, and much like the Scrappers roster, you will not see a lot of the kids that we're hoping to see, and that's because their teams are still playing. And the biggest rule, and I think everyone needs to understand this, and honestly, I think next year the draft league is probably going to be starting the season a little bit later because of the fact that you can't get anybody to play in this league until their team has been eliminated from postseason or their season is over.
I believe Division III and JUCO colleges, the NCAA, nix their tournaments.
Yeah, and I think that's the reason why they decided, hey, we can play early and get a look at some of these D3 and junior college kids. And, oh, by the way, much of the roster right now filled with D3 and junior college kids, but doing some quick scanning of these kids and how hard they throw, you have my attention. Hey, we got a kid on this team that throws in the mid-90s. The hell's he doing in junior college or Division III baseball?
Well, maybe it's mid-90s and absolutely no command ball.
Well, we'll find out. We will find out. But the season starts tonight in West Virginia.
Maybe he's blind.
Opening day is Wednesday at Eastwood Field. The Scrappers will open up a 2-game series with State College. And then Frederick comes in for a 3-game series. Fireworks Wednesday night, fireworks Friday night. All kinds of stuff happening, and that is tonight and through the week. Scrappers are on the road tonight, 2-game series against West by God, Virginia, and then they're home for a 2-gamer against State College and a 3-game weekend series against the Frederick Keys. That's what's going on with the Mahoning Valley Scrappers. We have some tournament baseball, district tournament baseball, to talk about. D2 and D3 in the spotlight today. And both D2 and D3 will be playing half of their district tournaments at Scene Park. D2 will be on Field 1. D3 will be on Field 2. The other Division II district will be in Louisville. That's where Salem is. They'll play Niles.
That's where DJ is. That's going to start in about an hour, less than an hour, really.
Yeah, Salem
So
will be
we will-
taking on Niles, and that's a 2 versus a 5.
We'll be able to give live updates on that one.
Absolutely, and hopefully, best of luck to both teams. We can't lose because both of them are a YSN school. The other district semifinal in Louisville will be Notre Dame Cathedral Latin, the 10 seed, taking on number 7 Chardon. These two schools are in the village of Chardon. You've got the public school, the Catholic school, and I'm pretty sure that the feelings of public versus parochial are pretty much the same there as they are here.
We talked about this in football, though, a little bit. The animosity in that conversation has died down a lot in the last decade.
Oh, yeah, because of open enrollment.
So it's not exactly as fired up as it used to be, and it's not exactly as lopsided as it used to be, especially in football, but also in all the other sports.
Yeah, I remember when Western Reserve played Newark Catholic, and I want to say this was the state championship game. This would have been Dom Velasquez freshman year, so we got to go back, 2015? I think it was 2015. Anyway, it was the same year Poland played Defiance in the D2 state championship game, and both local teams lost. Western Reserve got beat on one big inning, but after the game, Andy Hake, who was coaching at Western Reserve, stood up and yelled at the top of his lungs, "We're the best public school in the state of Ohio in Division IV, and that's all that matters." And everyone kind of looked at him and just there was some animosity there because it wasn't open enrollment was still and is still very much alive and well, but there have been some animosity. And as you said, it's died down an awful lot since open enrollment because the parochial schools can sit back and tell the public schools, you're doing the exact same thing we've been doing for years. Sit in the corner and shut your pie hole.
And now, because schools can do that with open enrollment, their programs are getting better, and the kids that are raised in that school system are no longer easily attracted to the parochial schools, because it used to be, if I go to Ursuline, I'm automatically going to be in a much better football program and have much more success.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden, or I'm just picking out Ursuline as a random.
Sure.
I'm not trying to pick on Ursuline, but now all of a sudden, it's not a fact that if you go to that school that you're automatically in a better football program. Look at what Springfield is doing.
Exactly.
Springfield's not even open enrollment, but look at I don't know, pick a random public school that's been really successful, but it wasn't successful back then. I mean, it's happening, and it's becoming less attractive to go to the parochial school to be successful.
Yeah, and the public schools are cyclical. I remember in the early 80s that I did a little bit of research, actually, from how many times Leetonia would have gone to the state playoffs in the 80s had there been an 8-team format like there was up until 2019 or up until 2020. Every single team, with the exception of the 1983 Leetonia team, would have gone to the playoffs. And you just look at this and go, well, come on. How come we had to deal with the top 2 teams?
20 years from now, there are going to be a bunch of schools that said, we would have made it to the playoffs every year before they went from 8 to 16.
Yeah, exactly. That conversation will be happening 20 years from now.
And in 20 years, they'll just make it every one of them.
Assuming that we still have 16 teams in the postseason, which we'll see what happens there. But Division II at Louisville, weather permitting, Salem taking on Niles. That's a 1 o'clock start. The winner of that game gets the winner of the Battle of Chardon between Notre Dame Cathedral Latin and Chardon. By the way, Notre Dame Cathedral Latin, the 10 seed, Chardon, the 7 seed. Look, I think Salem or Niles can beat either one of these teams based on the seeding. If it's chalk, it's Salem winning the district championship. If it's not chalk, Niles would be the favorite because they're the 5 seed and they have the highest seed other than Salem. So a lot of people can say, and I don't know if I would say this as a fact, but one would argue the Salem-Niles game may very well be for a district championship, with no disrespect to Chardon or Notre Dame Cathedral Latin, although both of those teams played a hellacious regular season schedule.
Yeah, I haven't seen Notre Dame Cathedral Latin yet. I'd be interested to see how they, because we've said it with teams like that who are independent, you kind of throw their seeds out the window because their record kind of, and with these super districts, a lot of teams don't know a lot about them, so they're just sort of vote them up based on their district or their record. So I don't know. I mean, Notre Dame Cathedral Latin could be a very sneaky 10 seed, or they could be deserving of the 10 seed. I don't know. But we'll see. I think on paper, from what I've seen, Salem and Niles are, a little cut above the other two. But once again, you just never know.
Yeah. And then over in Struthers, the first game will start at 4 o'clock. That will be the top seed Canfield Cardinals taking on number 11 Marlington. This is a Marlington team that was really, really good in the EBC. This is not a gimme in any way, shape, or form for Canfield.
And this is what makes baseball tournaments fun, because it's going to be my one against your one in these semifinal games. So, in baseball, you throw a little bit of records out the window because, teams have to play 4 or 5 games a week. They'll throw their 3 and 4 and 5 guys. Now all of a sudden it's 1 versus 1, and that's it.
Yeah,
and that's what can get people. But I think Canfield's 1 and 2 and 3.
And 3. Yeah, they're pretty good. Yeah, they're pretty good. The other one, a couple of weeks ago we were talking about the lack of respect the EBC gets. Well, the EBC is front and center in Struthers because Canton South is playing Howland. So this is a golden opportunity for 2 EBC schools to say, our conference is better than anything you have, and we're going to show you on the field today.
That's 3 EBC teams in the district semifinals because Marlington's up there, Salem's there, and Canton South is there.
I mean,
that should start putting respect on.
That should pretty much tell everyone just how really good this EBC conference really is. So, number 4 Howland taking on number 17 Canton South. Canton South upsetting West Branch to get to the district semifinals. Howland's got a pretty good number 1 starter,
if you remember, they scored all 3 of their runs on errors.
Yep.
Against West Branch. So, you don't want to take any respect away from Canton South because they pitched a really good game. But they were kind of handed some runs.
Well, and how many times
handed some gifts.
Yeah, how many times have we said you can't allow extra base runners? Errors and walks will kill you this stage of the game.
But at the same time, Canton South pitched really well and kept West Branch's offense down. But we've seen West Branch's offense go stagnant sometimes this year, not help that pitching staff. So the culmination of West Branch coughing up some runs and their offense kind of going stagnant really did them in.
Yeah, and I think that we're gonna give a little more credit to Canton South in the pitching. That's one thing that this league prided itself on. I mean, when you have Gavin Bruni, who's the best pitcher in the state of Ohio, the end of story.
Both the Rhodes brothers in Salem.
Yeah.
And then you got Marlington, who's pitched really well this year, and then Canton
South has pitched
is
well.
coming and flexing in the tournament.
Yeah, you're just looking at this going, wow, I expect to see 2 reasonably low-scoring games in both of these district semifinals. Although, having said that, I finally had an opportunity to see Canfield play on Friday. They played Springfield. Dear God, can this team hit?
Yep.
Oh, my Lord.
Yep, and what they do really well is a lot of their hitters, can hit bad pitches.
Yeah.
Quote, unquote. They can go outside the zone, and they have the back control to take a ball that's maybe 2 balls off the plate and hit it into right field or whatever it may be. They have really good back control, and that helps them.
Yeah, it's one of the best baseball teams offensively from the high school level that I've seen in a while, and I will make this bold prediction: no pressure whatsoever on the young sophomore. As we are on opening day of the 2021 Major League Baseball Draft League.
Oh, jeez. Ron's putting pressure on people.
Opening day of the 2023 Major League Baseball Draft League, or at some point in the 2023 Major League Baseball Draft League, AJ Havrilla is going to be on this team. That is one of the first things that I said after seeing him perform. Probably the most impressive part of AJ's game is I did not see him not barrel up a pitch. I mean, when he swings, he barreled everything up. He didn't. You know, I mean, he didn't go 4 for 4 or anything like that. But what impressed me the most is he barreled everything up. Every single swing had a purpose, and every single hit was with authority.
You picked the absolute best word to describe his approach. He comes to the plate with a purpose, a game plan. He does his work. He knows what the pitcher brings. And you can see he doesn't swing at pitches that are not hittable pitches. I mean, always swinging at strikes, good pitch selection. He's a smart hitter. And that's one of the reasons why he barrels up more than he doesn't. Now, that doesn't always lead to results, and we all know that's baseball.
Well, of course.
But you don't see him swing at pitchers' pitches too often.
No.
His swing and miss rate is way low. He almost never swings and misses. He's really hard to strike out. And that's one of the reasons why. In fact, I'm going to see if I can bring up how many strikeouts he has.
Yeah, it just I was absolutely floored by the amount of barreled up swings AJ had. And again, it's just one game. And I'd love to see what this kid does further and further into the tournaments. And you know, we're gonna bring this up at some point because there's a team in the region that could very well give Canfield all kinds of difficulties if we have a regional championship game with these two teams. Have you seen Chagrin Falls? Oh my God, is this team ridiculous? That if it's Canfield and Chagrin Falls in the regional championship game, that might be the best high school game that we'll see all year long. With all due respect to any of the high school games, that has the potential of being the best high school game we'll see all year long.
Did you say potential?
Potential. Yeah, and hopefully the two teams will at least stick around, and I didn't jinx any of them. But I was blown away by the offense from Canfield. I knew it was good, but they just, oh God, can they swing the sticks? And they get great pitching. I think everyone knows just how insanely good the Canfield pitching is. It's they're legit. They're a very solid team. There's a couple things that they will definitely need to work on if they want to get a state championship. But that is a team that is a very, very large threat to win a state title in Division II.
I'm looking for these stats.
I was going to say, it doesn't mean that they'll do it. It's just they're a very large threat. But I'm going to tell you right now, this district tournament, it's, you know, are they going to have some problems with Marlington? They could. Marlington, like I said, Marlington is a really good baseball team coming out of a really good baseball conference. This could be a fun game. And the nightcap, I'm really looking forward to seeing this. Howland against South. And oh, by the way, if it's Canfield and Howland again for the district championship, Howland gave Canfield two really good baseball games when they played each other.
So these numbers might seem low, but remember that Canfield had that break, so they haven't played as many games as you would think. So they've played 21 games, and Havrilla has played in all 21. He has 55 at-bats, total at-bats, and 77 plate appearances. He's only struck out 6 times.
Yeah, that's good. That's a strikeout every nine at-bats. That's pretty
really
solid.
I mean, this backs up what we've been saying. He's a smart hitter, doesn't swing at bad pitches too often, and I would bet that a majority of those 6 Ks have been ones that get him looking, because I don't think he swings and misses too often.
And to expand that out, if you're looking at a strikeout every 9 at-bats, over 600 at-bats, that's approximately 67 strikeouts. And in today's game where everyone is wanting to just swing ridiculously out of their shoes at times.
I don't.
67 punch outs in today's culture.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't bad. That's actually pretty good.
As much as you see it in the MLB, though, you don't. It hasn't trickled down to high school yet.
No, thank God.
Consistently, like these kids, I think understand that
you're not going to get it out.
Most of them don't have the skill to ignore fundamentals of hitting. MLB players do. I mean, you look at their swing. I would never teach swinging based on A-Rod's swing because there are a lot of things that he kind of ignores to get power. And like one time I watched A-Rod's like hitting tutorial, and I was like, I don't want my kid swinging like he's doing because he's good enough to ignore some stuff, and he does.
Yeah.
Now some hitters don't. Like Mike Trout's swing is perfect.
I would say Mike Trout, Miguel Cabrera,
Mickey's swing is
Manny Ramirez, Albert Pujols in his
there
prime.
There are definitely guys in the MLB that don't even ignore that they're good enough to ignore technique and still hit really well.
Yeah,
but
Miggy just infuriates me because he's one of those guys who would probably sleep, wake up, not do any stretching, and go 3 for 4 in a game.
I know we hate the Astros, but I've always liked Altuve's swing.
Altuve's got a great swing.
He's got a great swing. Javier Baez has a great swing.
I mean, Altuve's problem is he wears too many buzzers and buttons. And
to go off the cheaters, I think Javier Baez has a really good swing.
Javi Baez has a really good swing.
Lindor, when he's right, has a good swing.
He hasn't been right in a couple of years.
He hasn't been right, but when he was right...
My man's still hitting under 200 in New York.
When he hit for average and he was doing his thing in Cleveland, he had a pretty
Jose Ramirez has a good swing.
Yes, but he tends to overswing sometimes.
At times.
But when you're a power hitter like that, but when he's right and he's hitting for average, I
hopefully he's right because without the Franimal for the next 6 weeks, this offense is going to go downhill dramatically. That's crazy. All right, so Division II, as we made mention, 4 o'clock today on Field 1. Canfield will take on Marlington, and then at 6:30 or somewhere thereabouts, Howland will be taking on Canton South. Again, all of this is weather permitting. Pray to the baseball gods, small g, that we have some decent weather. Division III district semifinals. Let's go to Niles first because this is going to be a lot of fun. The top 2 seeds are at Niles. And the top 2 seeds are in the district semifinals. 4:30 this afternoon, Rootstown will be taking on Champion. There's that Champion team again. This is a team that won a state championship the year after South Range did with Drake Batcho and the boys. Look, we've talked about Rootstown and the fact that we really don't know a whole lot about this team, but clearly they got the top seed for a reason. Let's find out how good they are, because I know one thing. Champion is a very good baseball team, and they'll give Rootstown a tussle.
Yeah, and Champion, we've talked about Champion a lot on this show the last couple of weeks. They're under the radar. I don't think people are really talking about them too much. But you watch them, they don't do anything great. They're not like a great pitching team, a great hitting team. But they do a lot of things good. And I like teams that do a lot of things good instead of 1 or 2 things great. Because if you do one thing great, then that gets exposed in the tournament, and then what do you do?
Yeah. I mean, if the rest of it is pedestrian, then you're out of luck. I mean, I would much rather have a well-rounded team than someone who has borderline elite skills in one part of the game and then everything else is average.
Right. And Champion, O'Shaughnessy's a good player for them, and they do a lot of things good. Not a lot of things great, but a lot of things good. And, that can win you games.
And, there's part of this is luck, too. I mean, if Rootstown's number 1 starter happens to have a bad game, Champion could pull off an upset here.
Yeah.
And we'll see.
And Richie Giuliano is going to be at Scene tonight, and he's going to call in a minute, and he can talk about a lot. He can talk about YSU's 30th win and then 32nd win as well.
Yeah.
He can talk about the games he's going to be calling at Scene Park. And maybe he had some thoughts on the Scrappers roster as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's a baseball guy.
The other game is tonight at 7 o'clock, and this one is intriguing. South Range is the 2 seed. They will be taking on number 17 Crestview. Will the real Crestview Rebels please stand up? Because when they're on their A game, they're a pretty nice team. They're a sneaky good baseball team when they're on their A game. The problem is you haven't seen Crestview on their A game all that often.
This is interesting because it's Crestview South Range.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of little animosity there.
There's a little little bit of a spark between
I was at that
these
football
two.
game. There was some jawing.
Oh,
You know,
of course.
I mean, like,
yeah, there's a good
They kind of don't like each other a little
There's
bit.
a good, healthy dislike for both of these programs. Absolutely. Let's go to the phone lines. I believe Richie Giuliano is calling in on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. What's going on, brother?
What's up?
All right, I gotta throw out one thing. I had the opportunity because yesterday we did an all-day thing with the Scrappers, and in between I was watching a lot of the YSU game. My goodness, did Travis Perry look phenomenal yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for the senior day, he probably would have thrown 8 innings. I mean, they gave him 6 innings so they could throw the 3 guys out of the bullpen to honor them on senior day. But my goodness, at one point, Ron, and you know this, he retired 14 guys in a row, and he threw the most amount of innings, most amount of pitches he's thrown all season long. And we were talking about this after the game. This kind of opens the coach's eyes a little bit, thinking now if we do lose in the tournament, we even have another arm that we could potentially throw as a starter.
Yeah, and it's got to be good to have that little safety net there, and to discover that you have it 1 week before the Horizon League tournament's really big.
Yeah, it was a nice situation that they were able to throw both Clark and Floyd on Friday, and then that opens up that Sunday game and the 4th and final game of the series for somebody new. And, you know, Travis Perry, they designed him to be a starter from the beginning. He started Game 3 of the year at Troy, the first series of the year, and then some things didn't go his way, and they moved him to the bullpen, and, you know, they gave him another opportunity, and he really took advantage of it. And it's really nice to see for Youngstown State that you might have 4 or 5 starters that you could throw in a 4-game tournament.
Well, Richie, you and I were talking a little bit about this last week. For my money, Youngstown State and Wright State are a cut above UIC and Milwaukee. And I know UIC is on an 11-game winning streak. I understand that. And I think that UIC is playing some outstanding baseball. But when you get to a double elimination 4-team tournament, it's all about the pitching, and it's all about the pitching depth. And I don't think UIC has the depth Youngstown State or Wright State has. So I think that it's going to come down to Youngstown State and Wright State with all due respect to UIC. Now, having said that, UIC may blaster YSU on Thursday in Game 2 and send the Penguins into the losers bracket. But I still think when it comes to Saturday, it'll be YSU and Wright State, the 2 teams left.
Yeah, you hope so. And, I mean, you look at the starting rotation for UIC this season, it's kind of been up and down. They don't have a definite 4 like Youngstown State does. You got to give credit to Jacob Key, who's in his graduate student year for UIC. My goodness, has this guy been good. He was the 2019 Horizon League Pitcher of the Year, and he started right where he left off in 2019 this season. He shut down the Penguins once, and he's really done it twice, to be honest. If it wasn't for Colin Clark, who was able to throw that 8-inning game at UIC, they might have dropped that first game as well and got swept. So give credit to Jacob Key, who really kept this pitching staff afloat this season. But, yeah, you're right. I mean, Youngstown State obviously has the deeper bullpen, the deeper starting rotation. And in a double elimination tournament, and we mentioned this multiple times, if you've got to play 5 games, you're going to need some pitching. And I don't think UIC has enough arms to do that. Now, Youngstown State does, and that's the only problem. If Youngstown State does win that first game, UIC might be in some trouble in the losers bracket.
Yeah, that's why UIC might be a little bit more desperate to win that first game, because they know their odds go dramatically down if they have to win 5 games to win the Horizon League tournament. I mean, they need to do the conservative thing and win the first game and then go to the second day and at least earn themselves 1 spot in the winner's bracket. I don't know if they can win twice and sit themselves right in that regional final, in that Horizon League final, but they really got to make sure that they're not one of those teams that has to win 5 times because, like you said, I don't think their rotation can do it.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But you never know. I mean, it's tournament baseball. Anything could happen. They do have a couple quality arms. One of their guys, though, is hurt, and he's out for the season, which really hurts them. That's their 2 guy. So now they're throwing a 3 guy, and they brought the guy out of the bullpen, and Tanner Shears, to throw that 4th and final game the last couple of weeks. He's been pretty good, but not locked down. So I think UIC has some question marks around their 3 and 4 starters right now. And if you look at it, Anthony, I think another big key factor is UIC has not beaten Wright State once all season long. The only teams that have beaten Wright State are the 3 and 4 seeds in YSU and Milwaukee. So I think the Flames are desperately in need of this first win, hoping they could get some momentum. Like Ron mentioned, they have the longest winning streak in the league right now at 11. So if they win 12 in a row going into Wright State, I think they feel a lot better than they did against the Raiders earlier in the season.
Richie Giuliano joining us on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. Richie does the play-by-play for the YSU men's baseball program. Obviously, Thursday is going to be a very entertaining day. The first game is going to be Wright State taking on Milwaukee. Milwaukee secured the 4th seed despite dropping 3 out of 4 to Youngstown State. They backed into it because UIC clobbered Northern Kentucky 4 straight. So Milwaukee plays Wright State. Don't discount the Panthers because they did something no other team has done this year, and that's beat Wright State in Dayton. So this is not a gimme game by any stretch of the imagination, especially when it's Milwaukee's number 1 starter pitching against Wright State. Now, in a perfect scenario, if you're a Penguin fan and you see Milwaukee upset Wright State from the get-go, boy, is that YSU UIC game. All of a sudden, that's a huge game because you believe, or you would think, the winner of that game is going to be the prohibitive favorite to go into the winner's bracket and be in the driver's seat.
Yeah, there's no counting out Milwaukee. And you mentioned their starter and ace Riley Fry, just a true freshman. He's had a little trouble against Wright State this season, but it could be 3rd time's a charm for him. It's tough to, beat a pitcher 3 times in a single season, and that's the case with Riley Fry. He's got some good stuff, and he's coming off a really good outing against Youngstown State as well. He threw all 8. I mean, he gave up 3 runs on just a couple hits. He struck out 4 guys, and what's nice about Fry is he's got a lot of command. So if Wright State doesn't have the bats that day, Fry's not going to give you too many free passes, which is nice. So, you know what, we'll see. I think Milwaukee does have a chance. Their lineup's pretty solid up and down. They're working on a couple of new guys in the bottom half of the order that also swung it well against Youngstown State. I mean, you look at the top half, Ron, not much productivity from the top half of this order from Milwaukee this weekend. So it was all middle to lower half, which is nice to see if you're a Panthers fan.
That's what makes this Horizon League tournament fun yet frustrating, because especially for the 1 seed, because all 4 teams have the chance to win this weekend. And if you're the 1 seed, then you're thinking, we were the best team all season, and now one of these 4 teams might just come up and beat us because they're quality teams. So that's what makes the Horizon League tournament so fun, because top 4, they're all legitimate teams. They all have legitimate chances to win, and it's just going to be kind of chaotic to see who kind of comes out on top in one particular weekend.
Yeah, I think everybody except for Wright State, UIC, YSU, and Milwaukee, they've all beaten each other up throughout this 2021 season. I mean, YSU and UIC split the series. Youngstown State took 5 out of the 8 against Milwaukee. UIC and Milwaukee beat each other up. So everybody's hunting for the big dog, and that's Wright State right now. That's where all the eyes are focused. And, in a 4-team tournament, anybody can win it. And, I mean, we saw that on the softball side. All it takes is one bad day, because you play on the same night if you lose that first game.
You also play on the second day at the same game as well. We saw the YSU women win their first game against Robert Morris. They dropped the winner's bracket championship game. They fall into the loser's bracket. They have to play probably back-to-back. I don't think they had much of a break.
No, a half an hour break. When you have to play right after you lost, it's deflating. it's hard to get the energy back, and the YSU women kind of fell into that trap.
So, I mean, the guys, hopefully they're not going to go down that path. But again, if you happen to win a game on Thursday but then lose in the winner's bracket on Friday, you got to turn around and play again on Friday.
That's why I think the winner of the loser's game on the day one has a slight advantage in that second loser's bracket game, because they're coming off a win, they're coming fresh, they have all the momentum. And the team that you're playing just lost like 30 minutes ago, and they're kind of deflated. So I think as weird as it is, the team that lost on the first day and then wins out of that loser's bracket game, they might have a little bit of advantage.
I agree with that. I agree with that wholeheartedly. I mean, Dan Bertolini was on the show last week, and we talked about this. The possibility, and look, Wright State's the heavy favorite in this tournament. Nobody should kid themselves about this. They're the heavy favorite in this tournament. But if they were to stumble, Dan Bertolini believes that Wright State has a good enough resume that they could be a team that gets an at-large berth in the tournament.
Their RPI is top 30, I think. Absolutely.
I mean, look, that might be the best thing that's ever happened to the Horizon League, because then you'd get a multi-bid team or multi-bid league this year.
You don't know what happens to them once they, and I don't know what their RPI did once they lost to Milwaukee. And then if they lose in the Horizon League tournament to a team like Milwaukee again in the 4th spot, I don't know what that would do to their RPI.
I mean, they're 31-11. That's should be good enough to get into an at-large
The problem
berth.
is they don't have one of those big RPI top 50 wins.
Probably
And
right.
that might hurt them.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that on Selection Sunday after the tournaments are over.
But that's something that could very well happen if Wright State were to be upset. I mean, if I'm Wright State, I don't think I'd want to take my chances on that, because, again, the Horizon League has essentially been a one-trick pony in the tournaments.
The other thing you would have to hope for is that other teams don't steal at large spots by losing their tournament. Like if the SEC 1 seed loses, they're definitely getting in a large spot.
Absolutely.
So you don't want teams to steal.
Yeah, you certainly don't want that to happen. But
Richie, we have you on also to talk about high school, because you are going to Scene Park tonight, and you're going to call the Canfield game. We've been talking up Canfield for the last half an hour. Wow, what do you expect from tonight in the D1 bracket? I mean D2 bracket, and what are Canfield's chances?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a pitching duel tonight. I mean, I know Marlington's going to throw their ace, and the kid that's going to Kentucky, and Tommy Skelding. He's been really good this season. I mean, you look at his numbers, he's got 60 strikeouts in just 44 innings, an ERA under 2. And then you got Ryan Petro on the opposite end, who's going to start tonight for Canfield. So it's going to be a pitching duel. I mean, Petro's been almost untouchable this season, as he was named to one of our YSN All-Star team candidates. And it's just going to be a great game. And, I think Marlington, they're a good team. They're coming off of a win, which was big. And, Canfield is coming off a big win as well. And, I just see the Cardinals bringing the bats tonight and, hopefully cracking the code against Skelding, because that's your only hope right now is, 1 or 2 runs can win this game, man.
Anthony and I were talking about the EBC. This is a golden opportunity for the EBC to really shut some critics up of that conference, because Marlington is playing Howland. Canton South out of that conference is playing Marlington's playing Canfield, and Canton South is playing Howland. This is a golden opportunity for the EBC to shut some critics up and say, hey, we have a really good chance of getting our boys into the district title game.
Yeah, and you look at the other side, too, with Salem. I know they're playing coming up here soon. I know they just arrived in Louisville at the field, so good luck to them as well. That's going to be a big matchup. And, looking into the future, you don't want to jinx anybody, but Salem and Canfield have the chance to meet in that regional semifinal. And my goodness, would that be one of the best YSN games of the year if you would have Lane Rhodes throwing against Vital Caesar Petro?
Yeah, and you've done plenty of Canfield games. You said it's going to be a pitcher's duel, and it's going to come down to how much you can execute hitting situations, small ball, move runners over, whatever it may be. How good we know how good Canfield has been at scoring, how good they've been at extra base hits, bringing the power. How good has Canfield been at executing situational hitting when they have to, moving runners over, playing small ball, laying the bunt down? How good are they at that? Because I feel like they're going to have to deal with that a lot tonight against a really good pitcher.
Yeah, I mean, they've been really good at situational hitting this year, and I think their numbers show with that. Just moving guys over, a lot of sacrifice flies, a lot of guys that could hit the ball far enough to where runners could score from second and third. They have a lot of speed in the top half of the order, 1 through 5, so they could lay some bunts down as well, which is nice. And when you talk about our pitching duel, and that's what you want to do. You want to move guys over. You want to get them on, get them over, and get them in. And I think Canfield's done a great job of executing with men in scoring position this season.
Richie Giuliano, the voice of the YSU men's baseball program. He's also the voice of the Canfield High School baseball program. You couldn't have picked two better teams to follow this year, brother.
Yeah, it's been a fun ride. I'm blessed to have this journey this season. I mean, talking about YSU and them making the tournament and, setting the home record yesterday, also setting the Horizon League wins record. And then you look at the Canfield Cardinals, and it's special because my brother's on the team, and the way that they performed this year, they're undefeated, still haven't been beat yet, knock on wood, and they have potential to make a very long run in this high school tournament. So it's just been a special year, especially with Coach Niddle and myself doing the football games as well. That was a lot of fun. So shout out to Coach Niddle, as he was just the YSN Live Coach of the Year. So congratulations to him.
Yeah, there's no one else that could have gotten that award this year for baseball. The job he's done with that team and that program. It's always been a successful program, but he took it, as scary as it is, he took that program to the next level. And the really scary thing is almost everyone's coming back. They are not losing their core. They're a young team as far as their roster goes. They have a lot of kids coming back next year. And to see what he's going to do next year, oh, man.
Yeah, this is a 2-year journey for Canfield. It's not a one-and-done situation. I mean, the majority of their position players are coming back. Both of their ace pitchers are coming back. So, my goodness, this is going to be a very talented team even next year when a lot of the sophomores and some of the freshmen are going to be coming sophomores and juniors. So, even more experience on the younger level. And like you mentioned, it's going to be a very, very lethal team in the next 2 years.
Well, I can promise you this. I've saw their freshman team play, and I saw their JV teams play because I umpired some of their games. You have not seen really, really, really impressive pitching. You're going to see more of it as Jake Schneider and some of those kids from Canfield get on the varsity squad. Schneider and I joked around with this. I think that Coach Niddle, Coach Muckleroy, and the Canfield football coach, our guy, they're going to have a steel cage. All pins count anywhere, and whoever wins gets Schneider to be the one sport athlete. You get the feeling that could be a main event somewhere.
Yeah, but I mean, going through the Canfield system, I know how the coaches operate. They don't want you to, stick to one sport. They like you to play multiple. And that's what's really nice about the Canfield staff. They don't limit you to just one sport. They let you kind of play around. And, talking about Snyder, and he played a lot of minutes at the varsity level as a true freshman, which is fantastic. He's getting quality experience for football as well as baseball. So he's going to have a bright future. And, there's a couple guys that you could watch out for. Patelis, a freshman catcher for Canfield, who's got some time behind the dish. And with Machuga, senior, leaving, he could step behind the plate as a starting catcher. So there's a lot of, bright spots in that younger class.
And the funny thing you say, the multiple sport athlete, we've talked to many of the Canfield coaches in every sport, and they all say how much they love how each coach kind of works together. They'll eat lunch together, they'll share, the athletes, they'll share ideas and stuff like that. And you've been a part of that Canfield culture. Can you attest to not just how well the athletes move from sport to sport, but how well the coaches kind of act as one unit, no matter what the sport is, whether it be girls basketball, boys basketball, volleyball, track, football, whatever it may be. All the coaches are kind of this whole strong athletic unit, and that's why you see such a successful athletic program in Canfield, no matter the sport.
Yeah, I can attest to that. I mean, they're all good friends. That's what it comes down to as well. I mean, like you said, they eat lunch together. They all talk in the same hallway together in between classes. It's a tight bond, and, there's no argument saying, okay, like we mentioned with Schneider, I want him to play just football. They like to share each other with sports. So, I mean, there's no limit to just one sport at Canfield. You can play multiple sports. And what really makes the coaches special is they care about you as an individual. They care about you in the classroom and outside of the classroom. They don't just care how you perform on the field. They also care about what you're doing off the field to grow as a person and grow as a better, character and individual in the community.
Should be an awful lot of fun. You get to call that game, and obviously if Canfield can knock off Marlington, and again, Marlington throwing their ace, who is a recruit at the University of Kentucky, that you have my attention with that. Canfield would then take on the winner of Howland and Canton South, and if it's Howland gave Canfield 2 really good games in conference play this year.
Are you sticking around to watch that one, Richie?
Yeah, I'll probably stick around and watch.
Give us a good scouting report.
Yeah, I'll probably stick around and watch that one. And, we'll see. Depends what everybody's doing tonight. Hopefully the rain stays away. It was raining a lot earlier. Looking at the forecast right now. Oh, I think we're going to be all right tonight, which is good. So, you didn't want this thing getting pushed back, and that's another topic. What would happen if the rain would come in and push the tournament back? Would they play that tomorrow?
They would wind up playing it tomorrow.
They just pushed it back one day.
Everyone would get pushed back a day.
Yeah, that's a tough situation.
Which would stink because then the division that's scheduled for it to be at Scene tomorrow would also just have to be pushed.
Yeah, everything would get pushed.
There are division games that are scheduled to play tomorrow, so even if it's good weather, and the teams originally scheduled for tomorrow would have to be pushed to Wednesday.
Well, either that or they would go to Field 3, which isn't a bad thing.
Yeah, and then we would poo-poo the 14 U's that are supposed to play on Field 3.
Well, it sucks to be them. This is baseball tournaments. You guys are only playing regular season. You're going to get pushed.
Get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn. You're out of here.
All right, Richie, you have a good game tonight, all right, buddy?
All right, thanks, guys. Have a good one.
See you, Richie Giuliano, the voice of the YSU men's baseball team and the Canfield High School baseball team. I think that's what would happen. I mean, you thank God Scene Park has 3 fields. So if Tuesday is a decent day, then you could have, all right, we'll double up Division 2 will be here. Division 3 will be over here. Division 4, you'll play 2 games over on Field 3 or Division 1. Poor Division 4 would probably get kicked to the curb and say, okay, you guys can try to play your games on Wednesday. Try to play your game on Wednesday. You'll probably wind up playing it on the Field 3. So, yeah, that would suck. That would definitely suck. I got word from Jordan Taylor. He'll come on at 2 o'clock. We also got word as to who's going to be pitching tonight. Ben Belgrave gets the starts. So his name is now going to be pretty much in the record books as the first starting pitcher in the inaugural Major League Baseball Draft League. And interestingly enough, he made 8 appearances but only 1 start with his junior college. That would be McHenry County College, and that is out of Illinois, if I'm not mistaken. He went 6-1 with an earned run average a little over 4 this year. And last year, he had a earned run average below 3. So this is a guy that pitches to contact. Though he does strike out more than a batter an inning, he also gives up a little more than a hit per inning, but he normally bears down when there's guys on base. I love the fact that he's only walked 18 in 30. How many innings are we talking about here? 38 innings, so that's not entirely too bad. No, 10 walks in 38 innings. That's a walk every almost 4 innings. 48 punch-outs in 38 innings, striking out a little over 11 batters every 9 innings, and he only served up 1 home run ball in 38 innings.
That's impressive.
Yeah, so he will get the nod. He's a big boy, 6'6", about
Sounds like
210.
he's a guy that's going to keep the ball low in the zone, try to keep the ball on the ground, pitch to contact, and trust his defense behind him.
Yep. So Ben Belgrave will get the start for the Scrappers, the McHenry County College player.
Headlines are already writing themselves. Ring that bell, Belgrave. Let's go. Let's get that win. Already got it.
By the way, McHenry County College is located in Crystal Lake, Illinois.
I'm giving you broadcast gold, so better use some of my quips when you're calling Belgrave starts.
Ring the bell.
Ring that bell.
All right, there you
The
go.
bell of atonement.
Okay.
Victory bells.
Or the bell of for the batter who strikes out. The bell of
The death bell.
yeah the bell of go get yourself back into the dugout. You done struck out.
Ring your bell if you were satisfied with that at bat. Bling.
So he was on the Illinois State Community College All Conference team, and he will be pitching tonight for the Scrappers. I have not found out how hard he throws or any of those particulars. Still trying to do some homework on him. And truth be told, he was not on the roster that I got yesterday. So Ben Belgrave, and this is going to be, I think, a theme, at least for the first few weeks of this season. There's going to be guys that are going to be bouncing in and out of this organization because, unfortunately, the high school and the major college teams, their season is not completely finished yet. Now, we know that Colin Floyd is going to be playing for the Scrappers once the season is over. And I'm kind of torn on this because a part of me wants Colin Floyd to pitch another month with the YSU Penguins. But if they were to be eliminated this weekend, then next week, Colin Floyd would be a member of the Mahoning Valley Scrappers.
Now, if you want to listen to the Scrappers opening season game through YSN, you can go to ysnlive.com/Scrappers, which is where you'll find all the home games as well. And we will just have a link to the Black Bears broadcast, and you'll just follow that link, and it'll take you right to it.
Yeah. So, and again, keep in mind, this is a COVID reason, nothing else. The home broadcaster will be broadcasting the game not only for their team, but also for the visiting team. The visiting broadcasters will not be in the ballpark at all in 2021. So I'm only going to be doing 34 games, all the home games at Eastwood Field. Meanwhile, West Virginia's broadcaster will be responsible for calling the game tonight, and you'll hear the voice of the West Virginia Black Bears, and I don't even know who the person is. Hopefully we'll get that information. But the voice of the West Virginia Black Bears, you will hear him tonight at 7:05, tomorrow at 6:35, and then yours truly will be doing the games for the rest of the week. Hopefully Mother Nature cooperates at Eastwood Field. Anytime the Scrappers are home, I'm doing the games. Anytime they're on the road, it depends on who they're playing. If we're in State College, obviously it's the voice of the State College Spikes. You get the gist. The other 5 teams in the league: West Virginia Black Bears, State College Spikes, Williamsport Crosscutters, Frederick Keys, and the Trenton Thunder.
We could just set you up with the live stats, and you could do a radio broadcast based on the live stats that are coming up to you.
Oh, like that, like Bull Durham, and have the sound effects where you. And then you have the old the old cart that had the crowd noise, and then there's another base hit for and he's just gotten taken out of the ball game. It's time to tell it like it is, people. In the 50 years I've been doing this thing, I ain't never seen a team this bad in all my life. Good God. I just looked at that when I saw Bull Durham and I saw the recreation going on in this radio room. I'm like, oh my God. I'm so grateful that we never did that. Just so grateful for that.
Now, before we go to break and get Dana Bullish on one, we've had some questions on social media and through our group chat about your choice of attire today. So can you explain what you're wearing and why you're wearing it for the fans? For the fans, it's a hula shirt.
Well, no, it's a shirt that I actually got when I was in the Florida State League. So it's been around a while. It's a one of those shirts that you would normally see on an island or
Right. It's a hula
something
shirt.
of that nature. I just love wearing it in the summertime. It's
It's got a nice breeze to it.
Yeah, absolutely, it does.
Makes you feel like you're in a Hawaii.
It does. It makes me feel quite tropical. So all I'm missing is a mojito or something of that nature, where a drink with a straw and an umbrella.
Little umbrella.
Yeah, a little umbrella, and you can just have a nice little drink. Yeah, that's all I'm missing.
Next time you wear it, let me know. I'll bring you one of those umbrella drinks and
Yeah, there you go.
have some fun on the
Yeah, absolutely. And you have a Cuban cigar in one hand, a drink in the other
we
hand,
can't do that on the
and we'll have some fun with
It'll be a
this.
non-alcoholic mojito.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
and you can have
Yeah, we are not into drinking on the air. That's
have your candy cigars or something.
yeah, exactly. We don't
We're not Hoda and Kathleen.
we don't do any of the adult beverages or the smoking on the air. That's not going to happen.
as far as you know.
Well, okay. Anthony Hardwig will be taking 30 days off as he goes to AA for a little bit. Yeah. And step. What step are you on? I have no steps. I'm in a chair.
I
So.
don't do steps. I don't do steps.
I don't do steps.
Steps are bad.
Steps are a bad thing
We
for
call
you.
them elevator levels.
There you go. There you go.
I'm
Yeah.
on the
So
block.
yeah, no. So this is essentially the reason for the shirt. So makes me feel festive,
Makes you
somewhat. So
All right. Well, I hope everyone heard that because we had some questions
all right.
for the fans.
No,
They want to know our fashion.
The
sense.
cool thing about this, and I don't know if anyone can see these buttons. They're wooden buttons. So it's a typical island type of attire, which Now I'm just proud that I'm able to wear this thing because I've gained a little bit of weight, and
when you get back to walking, Ron.
well, that's exactly. I need to. I absolutely need to. Speaking of walking, we will walk to this break.
Walk this way.
And we will bring in the voice of TV 21 Sports. That would be Dana Balish. Although, the weekend guy, you want to talk about some cool attire. On Wednesday, when we were meeting Coco Crisp, my man was decked out in a blue pinstripe suit, top to bottom. And I'm looking at this going, all right.
All right.
Yeah, that's it. You've brought your A game today. Mad respect, sir. So Derek was bringing the threads. He looked good. Looked good in the pinstripe light blue.
Him and Corey always Corey McRae. This always look dashing when they go out to do a game.
Yeah, it's nothing wrong with the attire that he had.
And I'm sitting there next to him while they're like doing their interviews for the district champions. And I'm like, I am way underdressed for this.
We have yet to get
Whoa.
the YSN suit model yet. Looking forward to that,
And
though.
we never will because we are business casual.
Yeah, well, this is true. All right, Dana Balish is coming up next. Stick around.
Our suits are jerseys.
This is true. Yeah.
It's button up. It's good.
It's yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's business in the front, party in the back. It's all right. All right, we'll take a time
Unless you're
out.
doing a mullet.
Well, yeah. I can't
Take a
do
time
that.
out. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, we're not doing no mullets here. That's not going to happen. We'll take a time out. Dana Balish coming up next. Stick around. It's a Monday edition of Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, we go the extra mile for you.
By finding you the right vehicle at the right price.
And by being with you for every mile of your journey.
Visit greenwoodchevrolet.com and tell us how we can go the extra mile for you.
New things happen all day. Some are good, some not so good. In today's complicated world, while you're busy working, playing, and living life, we're busy helping you make sense of the day's news. And there's only one place where it comes together with clarity, context, and accountability. It's 21 News at 6 with me, Madison Tromler, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 6. It's what the day's news really means to you. Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Hi, this is Jim Myers with Myers Family Insurance, your local Medicare and retirement resource. We're excited to have sports back. Whether you're on the field or cheering from the stands, sports unifies communities and brings hope for the future. We're all one team working together. At Myers Family Insurance, we know the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is October 15th through December 7th. Now's the time to make sure your plan continues to meet your needs for the upcoming year.
Call today.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Welcome back to this Monday edition of Running Point. Ron Potesta with you alongside Anthony Hartwig, and we are joined, as we are every Monday at this time, by TV21 Sports Director Dana Balish. Dana, how are you today, sir?
Doing well, Ron. Yourself?
Doing good. We get into the district portion of high school baseball, and later this week we'll get into the regional portion of high school softball. Baseball and softball have been really, really good to this area in terms of teams that make it to the state semifinals and state championship game. Are we expecting more of the same this year in baseball and softball, Dana?
Well, I mean, you kind of, you hope it's that way, but, once you get into the regional level, Ron, I mean, there's a lot of good teams. I mean, Canfield's taking on Marlington tonight. Marlington, I believe, is the 11th seed, but they got a heck of a pitcher, I think, who's going to Ohio State. So, you get solid pitching, you get that timely hitting. I know we've talked about that all season long, but that's what it comes down to. At this level, it's you got some pretty good teams in there. So you keep your fingers crossed, you see what happens, and you go from there. It's a fun time of the season. When you get to the Final Four, in the district play, then you move on to regional because it's like one game. It's a one-game season for every team now. And Ron, from this point on in baseball, there's only going to be one team that wins all their tournament games. So it's a fun year. Hopefully, we'll have a weather week like we had last week and get all these games in on time.
Yeah, and for the first time since 2016, we're not going to be calling the state champions in softball. Now we can just take the time to reflect on how truly special Coach Weaver's run in that program has been, and how awesome what she put together was. Can you just kind of reflect on what we saw from Champion the last 3 seasons, and how unique that is, and how much we really don't see that too often, a team be that dominant over that stretch of time?
Look, I'm not going to go out on a limb, but this team probably would have won the state championship last year as well, which would have made it, 4 in a row, given them 10 state championships in school history. I mean, what Coach Weaver and that program has done is basically elevated it itself to the best softball program in the area. No other team in any other sport has more state championships than the champion softball team on this side of the border. I mean, you think about Cardinal Mooney football, they got 8. Maplewood boys cross country, McDonald boys cross country got 7. I mean, Champion is there by themselves. I mean, the only other team that we cover that has more is the Kennedy Catholic boys basketball team over in Pennsylvania, and they got 10. And I truly believe Champion would have won it last year to tie that. It's unfortunate they didn't get that opportunity. But again, will we see a run like that again in high school sports? I mean, you would hope so, but I don't think so. That's unprecedented. I mean, it reminds me of the 90s, with YSU football. I mean, and if you look at the champion program, just what they've done. I mean, back in '87, they had, a great pitcher in Jackie Beavers, and won a title back then when the games were in Ashland. When Coach Weaver has come in, it's a dedication for those kids. And, when you have a program as good as that, you have a coach and you have a manager, and I understand that, but the kids coach themselves. And, I mean, they're a little small community up there. Coach Weaver, is one of these coaches who I would hope one day would get into the Curbstone Coaches Hall of Fame and so on and so forth, because not only is she a good coach, but she's a great person as well.
You can make a really good case that Cheryl Weaver could very well be the best high school coach in any sport in the Mahoning Valley.
Well, Ron, that's a good point. I think sometimes, people look at what, and obviously, and Cheryl's the first one to say, it's not me, it's the kids, and it really is. I mean, and it could be any sport. I mean, it's the kids that make the championship. I talked to her last year, when the season was canceled, and I talked to her on the phone, and she says, yeah, we're disappointed. She goes, but, I feel bad for my seniors, talk to them about this. And, that's what it's about. I mean, they put the program on the map, and I know that Commissioner Dan Ross, when he was the commissioner of the Ohio High School Athletic Association, said to me, because he knew champions from this area, he goes, I want to go to that school. I want to see all about that school. And I think he was able to do that before his tenure, came to an end. But, we've had great coaches, and, I mean, you look, Ron, and again, I think when I don't know if you could say, Cheryl, we were one of the best softball coaches in the area. I don't think there's any question. It would be so hard, in my opinion, to pinpoint just one individual as the best coach, because we've had some great coaches in this area that have won state championships. We've had some great coaches that maybe haven't won a state championship, but have really turned programs around, in all sports. And I think that would be a good topic of discussion, to name the top 5 coaches from the 1970s and on for all the sports, because I think you would have a hard time doing that. And Cheryl Weaver, in my opinion, would be one of the top 2, 3 in softball. But to overall, man, that's really, really tough, and I wouldn't want to slight anybody, but because we have great coaches in this area.
Yeah, we really do. I mean, when you look at the coaches in the area, we're blessed with a lot of great leaders, of a lot of great athletes. So when you talk about some of the new coaches that have come up, I saw earlier in the week on your Twitter page that Middle Ridge has hired a new girls basketball coach, and it is their program's leading scorer. So when you hire someone from your school that played there and is an alumni there, what kind of advantage does that give to you, knowing that you have someone that really cares about the program and isn't going to do anything to hurt it?
Well, I think first of all, Anthony, when you get to that point, I mean, when you coach your alma mater, I mean, you know about the program, you know the pride, you know what it is, you know community members, you know all that. And if you look at various sports, I mean, there's a lot of coaches who have coached their alma mater. T.J. Parker in football, is at Austintown Fitch. And there's many more, that have done that. And I think there's some added pressure. Joey Simon's going to do it with Liberty this year. Tom Pavlansky left Lakeview after 21 years to go to his alma mater to coach at Poland. Brian Hoffman is doing that at Hubbard in football. And like I said, I'm sure there's more in other sports as well. But I think there's a sense of pride. I think there's a sense of, okay, I want to be part of this. I want to make it special. And not that coaches who aren't coaching at their alma mater, but I just think it's, when you're at your alma mater, you kind of feel at home. And I think that helps, especially for new coaches. But again, there's that added pressure. You're a Liberty kid or a Girard kid. Look at Nick Cochran, coach there. You could go down the list. And I think there's some pressure, but I think it's a pride factor most importantly.
TV21 Sports Director Dana Ballas joining us on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. It's opening day today in the Major League Baseball Draft League. The Mahoning Valley Scrappers are in Morgantown, West Virginia, opening up a 2-game series with the West Virginia Black Bears before returning home for the home opener on Wednesday night, first of 2 against State College. They'll be home the rest of the week, so hopefully, weather permitting, 5 games at Eastwood Field. We get underway, and I think the first game is already underway at Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia, where the Phillies play. The Trenton Thunder opening up the Major League Baseball Draft League era as they are taking on the Frederick Keys from the home of the Philadelphia Phillies, and that game is just getting underway. This is going to be an interesting league and a potentially great idea by Major League Baseball as long as they market this properly.
Well, I think the confusing part, Ron, for a lot of people is, Major League Baseball decided to cut 40 minor league teams. But now they're behind a team or a league, a 16 league that has no Major League affiliation. So I think that's the confusing part about this for a lot of people. I've been asked, okay, minor league baseball cut teams, but why are they sponsoring or why are they behind this team? And I kind of say it's hard to explain. If they were going to do this, why didn't they just keep the Scrappers with the Indians? So I think that's the confusing part. And what I tell people is, look, the part of it is they wanted to cut affiliates from teams, so they're doing this. Ron, I don't know what to expect, to be quite honest. I think, it's a familiarity. I mean, there's 2 local kids on the roster, 3 if you include Colin Floyd of YSU, who won't join them probably for some time until YSU finishes their season. I think there's that factor. I think the X factor in all of this is if people want to go outside and watch baseball, they're going to do that. Again, I think that Indians affiliation helped so much because you were seeing future stars of the Indians or future players. Until, and I'm not saying that changes, but until people see that first MLB draft player go to the big leagues, I think it will be a struggle a little bit. But again, with that being said, people are going to go there for the entertainment value. They're going to go there, to get a night out. They're going to go, see their friends, or whatever. So I think it's going to be successful overall. But some of the fans, look, the Scrappers were here 20 years. Okay, you just can't turn the page and say, okay, we're gonna cling on to this team or follow this team. I mean, it just doesn't work that way. 21 years ago when the Scrappers started their season, it was a curiosity factor. I think this is going to be a curiosity factor as well. And it's going to take some time. And I think, look, it's better than no baseball at all. So I think that's the way it has to be approached.
From your perspective, what percentage of the Scrappers ticket revenue or ticket draw were people that wanted to see those Indian future stars and were watching them because they were an Indians affiliate, compared to how many people went because of the baseball experience and because it was baseball they could go to without driving to Cleveland or driving to Pittsburgh?
Well, I think it's twofold, Anthony. I think people went, look, yesterday was a beautiful day. You could decide at 5 o'clock I'm going to go see a game, okay? You can't do, you could do that in Cleveland, okay, but, when things get back to normal, so to speak, it's going to be tough to find a ticket. It's something different, okay, and I think that was the factor in this. I mean, they had Little League Baseball and softball teams involved. I'm sure they're going to do that. They have fireworks nights, the promotional end of this. And Ron, you were in minor league baseball. Promotion is a big part of that, and I think that will continue here. As far as the brand of play, I think, the jury's still open. I don't know what to expect. I mean, they practiced for the first time yesterday, and are playing a game tonight, So, you have a chance to go out there and see a former, major league player, now manager in Coco Crisp. And a great guy to deal with, a great guy to talk to. Is one of the best managers, or from a media friendly standpoint, probably one of the best we've ever dealt with. So, I think there's that curiosity factor. And again, this week you got district baseball, you got regional softball. So I just don't know. Will it be successful? I think it will be successful. Are fans going to flock there? I think it's just too hard to tell right now because there's a lot going on that we didn't experience last year, and people are experiencing it this year with Little League Baseball and so on and so forth.
21 Sports Director Dana Ball is checking in on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline. We had an interesting poll question that is pretty much irrelevant because the OHSAA has made their final decision in terms of how many teams are going to be going into the playoffs. But the Ohio High School Football Coaches Association had a poll in which an overwhelming 72% of the coaches said, hey, we kind of like the 12-team format, and that kind of went by the wayside when the OHSAA decided we're going to go to top 16 teams. It's interesting, when you broke it down in Mahoning and Columbiana counties, an even higher percentage of coaches from those two counties said we would prefer the 12-team playoff.
Well, Ron, this was a survey done by the Coaches Association because the Coaches Association is going to meet with the Ohio High School Athletic Association on June 8th, the Board of Directors, to present their points why this is not a good idea. They're going to have facts. They're going to have a half hour in front of the board. They're going to they're doing their homework. They've done their homework. The Coaches Association is broken down into regions. Region 8 is Mahoning and Columbiana, and 24 of the 26 teams in the survey said we would prefer 12 teams. Now, Trumbull County is part of Region 5, which consists of Lake Geauga and Ashtabula County for a total of 30 teams. 22 of those said we're in favor of 12 teams. Now, keep in mind, 486 of 711 responded, so 25 schools didn't respond, or 25 coaches didn't respond. But when you break it down, the vote total, survey total, do you want 16 or 12, or however it was worded, 343 out of the 486 says we would prefer a 12-team playoff. So what the Coaches Association is going to do is they're going to take that, present it to the board, and, are hoping that the Board of Directors will reconsider this and do, make a change. I don't think that will happen. I think it's set in stone that it will be 16 teams. A good friend of mine, a colleague of mine in Cincinnati, was able to catch up with a very high-ranking official of the Ohio High School Athletic Association and basically says the 16 teams aren't changing. So how do you deal with that? How do you look at that? It's a step-by-step process, and certainly this will be a center of controversy. And Ron, the football season begins in just over 12 weeks. The playoffs are going to begin in 23 weeks. I certainly think when it's all said and done, that first round of the playoffs, you are going to see teams in that 13, 14, 15, 16 range opting out and not play that week. I truly, truly see that coming. Yeah. And again, that's a preference that coaches will be able to make. And, I think, is that a good thing? I think each coach has to make that decision on a personnel basis and a personal level after talking with the superintendent and his administrative staff. But look, if you're going to go out there and know you can't compete, then why get embarrassed? Why get embarrassed? And I think we're going to see some of that, and I think that's where this controversy is really going to come. We're really going to see that because, it's David versus Goliath. And again, will a 16 team ever beat a 1 seed? I mean, no one knows. But just look at it. You've been around. I mean, you could have a team that's 10-0 playing a team that is 3-8 and have scored 22 points all season. It just doesn't make sense. And let's take it a step further. So 1 advances and 8 advance. They would play in round 2. And if you look at the numbers now, again, that's what we go based on. There are you could have 2 weeks of very bad playoff football, in my estimation, with this.
Does the OHSA have the power or the, will to penalize the teams to decide they want to opt out, or are they giving them that right? Like, you can't opt out without any kind of penalty from us. Because I'm kind of scared they might be like, hey, if you opt out, then you're not getting in the playoffs next year. We're going to ban you for 1 year if you decide to opt out.
I don't think you got it. I don't think you can do that. And I don't know the stipulations. I mean, again, based on last year, you put everybody in the playoffs. You have the decision to opt out. I think that will continue. I mean, to be quite honest, I think you could opt out even before any of this. You could opt out of anything, really, if you don't want to play. So I think some coaches are going to realize that. And it's not because, look, we can't compete against this team. It's a safety factor. You get into this division, it could be, look at Division 7. I mean, you have teams like Delphos St. John and New Bremen and teams like that because of their success, their Division 7, they got 60 kids on their team. Then you have schools like up here, and again, no disrespect, but the numbers show that, Matthews, Leetonia, Chalker, I mean, they're dressing 22 kids. You just can't compete against that. And I think that's where the problem's going to come in. So I would hope that, this is etched in stone. It's going to happen unless something happens for it not to happen. But I think they got to look at this and then reevaluate it after the season and say, okay, what do we got to do here? And I would hope the association would look at it from that standpoint and not the standpoint of, we made X amount of dollars on this.
Dana, always a pleasure. Look forward to catching up with you later in the week when we see you at Eastwood.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
See you. Dana Ballage, 21 Sports Director, checking in as he does every Monday on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline.
If a lot of 13, 14, 15, 16 seeds opt out, the OHSA might look at this and be like, well, shoot, we're not making money anyway. Because these games aren't happening. So, you know what? Well, wouldn't it be funny if, all the 13 through 16 seeds just took a stand and said, those games aren't happening. We didn't make the playoffs the way we wanted them, so we're not going to play them, and you're not going to make money off those games. Wouldn't that be funny?
Well, I mean, look.
What can the OHSA do? Well, shoot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look.
And
if
it
you're
turns into a 12-team playoff anyway.
If you're a team that finished 13th, but you played a soft schedule, soft in that a lot of the teams that you beat didn't fare very well. So let's say you're 8-2, 9-1, but you finished 13th because you didn't get a lot of second level points because the teams that you beat didn't win a whole lot of games.
Right.
I think those teams would sit back and go, no. We'll play and we'll show up and we're 9-1, 8-2, and we'll take our chances. Right. But the teams that are 3-7, and there will be a couple of 3-7 teams making the playoffs at 16.
I gotta think if they are 3-7 though, those 3 wins are gonna be
against
impressive wins.
Yeah. I mean, either a bigger school that gave them a crap load of level 2 points and level 1 points, or really good programs in which they pulled off an upset. I don't know.
The thing we're not gonna see is the 3-7 schools that also play down. Like if you had a bad season inside a small conference and you're not getting in.
Yeah.
Which I think is at least one of the positives, if there are any, for a 16-seed playoff.
I'll be real curious to see.
I think if coaches can safely put a team on the field and not put their kids at risk, they'll play. Because, Coach Seidel said it last year. They opted out not because they thought it was unsafe, but because they wanted to earn a playoff spot.
Exactly.
And no matter 16 is still more than there are in the region. So there are 8 teams in some region. I think 8, 24, 25, whatever.
Yeah, there's going to be 8 to 10 teams.
7 to 10 teams that aren't making the playoffs.
Exactly.
So even if you're at 16, if you can safely put a team on the field and not feel like you're putting your kids in danger, you might want to do it because then those kids still earn that spot. The bar might be lowered a little bit, but they still earned it.
Yeah, they earned it. And it's not like someone said, hey, we're going to let you in just because we want to let you in.
Right.
No, the bar was set. Now, personally, I don't even think you should be playing top 8. I think it should be top 4. I think you get your best football when you have 4 teams in each region, but you wouldn't make a whole lot of money because now you're looking at 4 weeks of football instead of
the
6.
sketchy thing about that is sometimes there are regions that have 6 solid teams.
No, I get that.
And you miss out on that. Now, the 7 and 8, they're usually...
Yeah, I get that, but for me, top 4 was always the sweet spot for me. When it went to 8, I was like, eh. And then you see every once in a while, and it's not every once in a while, it's more often than not, the 1-8, 2-7 games are garbage. Dana's right on this. There is the possibility in certain regions where we're going to see 2 weeks worth of absolute grade A dog crap football in terms of scores.
Here's the big question, though. Is sitting through, let's say, 20 of those terrible games okay if you have one game that goes to 16 seeds way? One game where those 16 seeds says, whatever the night the ball bounces their way, whether it because
it's on a Friday the 13th,
right? It just that adrenaline and that excitement, does that make the 20 blowouts worth it? And that's in the March Madness we see one seeds destroy 16s all the time.
Yeah,
but wasn't it worth it when that one UMBC team beat Virginia?
Yeah,
yeah,
you must be Cinderella.
Right.
You could not possibly market that any better when UMBC won that tournament game.
So is it unlikely? Yes. Is it possible?
No,
yes.
As it turns out, it is.
And is the fact that there's a sliver of a chance enough to say it's okay? Especially
if we see it, I'll answer the question. I guess because I just.
Yep.
I don't know if there's a 16 that can come up and bite a 1,
especially
in this state. I don't know.
In high school, you're talking about high school kids that can kind of mentally break down. The one team could be a little bit high on themselves a little bit.
That's true.
Not take a team seriously.
That's true.
They're young kids. You just never know what will happen.
The hardest thing to coach is figure out is the psyche of a 15 to 18-year-old young man.
Right.
Because there's a reason why the best team doesn't always win on paper in any sport, in high school sports, because the $1 million unanswered question is,
what's the teenager thinking?
What is the teenager thinking? That is the question that will never get an answer.
If the quarterback's girlfriend dumps him before,
there you go.
For the game,
exactly.
It's over.
And let's say that the catcher the catcher is messing around with the pitcher's girlfriend. Well, your battery just got a whole lot of problems here.
There's a lot of crazy stuff. So the point of that whole conversation. Is a 16 beating a 1 likely or even remotely?
Probably unlikely.
Probably unlikely.
Yeah,
but there's that sliver of hope, and when it does happen, it's magical.
Yeah.
And is the magical euphoria of seeing that happen worth the 20, 25 times
mercy roll games? And then with our luck, it's probably going to be happening 3 or 4 times, and then everyone will be like, what the hell? How did this happen? And the OHSAA will be sitting back going, couldn't have scripted this any better. Just couldn't have scripted it any better.
There are 2 things you can do to fight it. Either opt out or play and know when to go, because then they don't make money either.
Yeah. Look, at the end of the day, I don't see any team, even though the bar has been lowered, it's still this is the requirement. I don't think there is a team in the state of Ohio that would sit back and say, we're going to pass up an opportunity to play a playoff game because we're not good enough. I don't think there's a team that would do that. If they do, it's going to be because they didn't have enough healthy bodies, or they just don't feel that they have any chance. But how disappointing is it going to be for someone if you sat back and I'm not a parent, but if I was a parent and my kid was on the 16-seeded team and he had a healthy team, but his coach wanted to opt out because he felt they didn't have a chance to beat the number 1 seed, I would be pissed as a parent. I'd be pissed off at that coach. It's one thing if you don't have the bodies. Okay, if you don't have the bodies, no problem. You shouldn't be playing this game. But if you have healthy bodies and you're going to turn around and say, I'm not playing this game because we have no shot against this number one, I don't want you coaching anybody, because that's a losing attitude, and you don't need to be coaching anymore.
There's something to be said about the competitive spirit and we get the privilege to go. Let's say a 1 seed in Division 3 is Springfield. Or I'm in basketball.
Yeah,
again.
Division 3
Division
is
5.
Yeah, Division 5 is
Springfield.
Division 6.
So let's just say we have the right to go play Springfield, or we have the right to go play Kirtland, or whatever it may be. We got that privilege, and we're going to go play them. We're going to go, whether we lose by 50 or we lose by 10 or whatever it may be. We have the opportunity to make 1 or 2 plays that make them remember us, or win 1 or 2 plays, or tackle a kid really hard, or you pick the little victories and say, we have this opportunity, we have this right, we've earned this, and if we can safely do it. I mean, I hope it's an internal discussion between the coach and the team, especially the coach and the seniors, who have put 4 years of work into getting their program there.
Yeah.
And to say, hey, if you guys think we can do this, if you guys want to work and take the small victories, and if we come out on top, then it'll be the best thing ever. Let's do it,
Unless the team is banged up and you can't field a team with somewhat decent numbers, get your butt out on that field and play. Otherwise, that's the biggest losing mentality ever. And no kid deserves that.
I don't like saying the word embarrassed, because I've seen teams lose, 55 to 7, but they're not embarrassed, because there are some plays they made that were really good plays.
Yeah, and they just didn't make enough of them.
They're obviously just so not well equipped to play that team. But, there have been some blowouts that are just like, oh, this is embarrassing. But some of the blowouts are like, they fought with pride. They went in there. They played the hardest they could, and they just lost. And there's no embarrassment in that.
And look, I'll repeat it. I mean, if you have a healthy team, the bar has been, it's not our fault. Bar has been set low. The OHSAA has set this bar a little bit lower than what I want it to. But neither here nor there. This is what the OHSAA has done. Here's the top 16 bar. If you're in the top 16, you should be in the playoffs, unless your team is banged up to the point where you cannot field a legitimate football team, a legitimate basketball team, whatever sport. Now, in all the other sports in the state of Ohio, this is an irrelevant conversation, because every other sport, everyone's invited into the tournament. Football's different because it's a once-a-week sport, and you have to be, in this case, top 16 in your region. But I would be so disappointed if my team decided, well, we don't have a chance in hell at beating this team, and even though we're somewhat healthy, we're not even going to do that. Oh, I would be mad as hell at that team, because that's just, you quit, and there's something seriously wrong with that.
Especially if that decision is made without any communication between the players, then that's how you dramatically lose a locker room for years. I mean, if that coach just makes the decision unilaterally, he's gone, because the team completely loses their faith in that coach to fight for them. Now, if it's a team decision, it's team, whatever. You can. But if that coach makes that decision, or that AD in particular makes that decision without talking to the coach and the players, then that could really tarnish a relationship.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. All right, MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline open for business.
How can you come back next year and ask those kids to go through the summer camps and to fight through the schedule?
Yeah.
When you decided they weren't good enough to even take the field.
Yeah, exactly. In the kid's mind, it would be like, okay, how are you going to screw us this year?
Right. It's like, okay, you don't believe in me, you don't want me to fight, then I'm not going to give you my all.
Yeah, exactly. All right, 330-886-0813. The MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline open for business. Take a time out. Be back with more of the Monday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com.
Your first and last stop with your tax return should be with me, Tracy Bryden at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. No other dealer goes the extra mile to bring you the largest selection of vehicles at one convenient location. With guaranteed credit approval, I will find you the right vehicle and the right financing options for you. I am ready to go the extra mile to show you why no other dealer sells more cars, finances more, and gets you more for your refund than Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
Jimmy Sutton here, Director of Isle, Purple Cat, and Golden String. We are happy to support YSN and 2 of my favorite people, Scotty Mincher and Super Dave O'Malley. We are an agency that provides services for adults with disabilities. We infuse humor, passion, and joy into their lives. If you know of any folks with disabilities that need our assistance, please contact us.
Your teams work hard and give it all they've got. Well, so does ours, because 21 Sports and YSN give you extra effort when covering local sports. 21 Sports and YSN, winning coverage of our Valley's teams.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
Hello, I'm Greg Burbick with G. Burbick Farms. For the last 100 years, my family has farmed in the Columbiana and Mahoning counties. I began raising cattle in 1996 with the goal of providing a better product for you and your family on the dinner table. Our grass-fed and grain-supplemented Black Angus beef are raised with no hormones, steroids, or antibiotics. We're known for our hometown-friendly service and incredible tasting products. We're locally owned and have customers across the tri-state area. Our products go from our farm to your family. Stop by our farm on New Buffalo Road or visit us on the web at gburbickfarms.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. G. Burbick Farms, it just tastes better.
This is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsuranceSolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
If you're looking for a quality pre-owned vehicle, why shop anywhere else but Tri-State Ford? Choose from our great selection of pre-owned vehicles. Plus, we've got you covered with our exclusive Tri-State Ford Advantage. It includes a 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty with your pre-owned vehicle and much more. Come see why so many customers from the Tri-State area buy their pre-owned vehicle at Tri-State Ford.
Customer focus, community driven. Tri-State Ford East Liverpool or visit tristateford.net.
Welcome back to a Monday edition of Running Points presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. The MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline open for business. 330-886-0813. That's 330-886-0813. I wanted to bring up something that Dana Balish had brought up in regards to the Scrappers. When I believe his comment was, people asked, well, why did they do away with the Scrappers and then have this league? That's an apples and oranges argument, and here's what I'm talking about. This league is set up for kids that are draft eligible to get the look and get looked to get possibly drafted in the 2021 campaign, hence the reason for the Major League Baseball Draft League. None of these kids are professionals yet. They're all playing in this league, if you want to draw a comparison, this is kind of like the Combine in the National Football League. The only difference is instead of the underwear Olympics where you're not seeing any games played, but you're seeing guys doing some different things except for playing the game.
You know what it is? It's like it's almost like an arena football league.
Well, you're playing these games.
In that so you can try to, because no one plays arena football because that was their dream. They're playing these arenas, Canadian football, whatever it is, to try to get eyes on them. And that's what this draft league's about.
Yeah, and again, none of these kids have been drafted. They're draft eligible. So the main purpose in all of this is for a kid to say, I'm going to play really well in this league and earn my opportunity to really improve my draft stock. As a matter of fact, the theme for the Major League Baseball Draft League, if I can bring this back up, the theme for the Major League Baseball Draft League is #RaiseYourStock. That's perfect, because that's exactly what these kids are going to try to do over the 50 of the 68 games that are played, and then after the draft, obviously, you're hoping to raise your stock. If you weren't drafted, you're hoping to raise your stock to sign a free agent contract with someone. But that's the perfect way to describe the league. #RaiseYourStock.
Do you hashtag a lot, Ron?
No.
Oh, are you gonna
No, I don't. I could. I mean, hashtag excited. I don't know what the hashtag. I'm digging the Scrappers. I don't know. We'll see. They're in action tonight against West Virginia, 7:05. The first game is at a major league ballpark. Go figure. They're playing the Trenton Thunder, and Frederick Keys are getting their game on at Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia. Not too shabby.
That's a heck of a way to start your draft.
Yeah, not too shabby.
Now, will they always be playing their home games there? Do they
No.
Is that special?
That's going to be special. The home games, as it turns out, when Arm & Hammer Ballpark is not being used, they'll play their games there, the home of the Trenton Thunder. As everyone, or at least some people may know this, some people don't know this, we'll let this out of the bag right now. The Toronto Blue Jays are obviously not going to be playing in Toronto this year, or at least until the Canadian border is open. So they're playing their major league game starting June the 1st up in Buffalo at the downtown Buffalo AAA facilities. Buffalo will be playing their home games when their field is being used by the Blue Jays. They're going to be playing their home games at Trenton, at Arm & Hammer Ballpark in Trenton. So when the Trenton Ballpark is not being used, the Thunder will play their games there. When it is being used, they will play their games at nearby Rider University. So that's where the Trenton Thunder will be playing their games. By the way, on the hill today for the Trenton Thunder, Dylan Hyde. Dylan Hyde out of Westchester, PA. And he is sitting at 92 to 94 miles an hour in the very first inning. So we're off and running in the Major League Baseball Draft League as the Trenton Thunder are playing the Frederick Keys. By the way, the Keys will be at Eastwood Field Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, weather permitting.
They certainly hope that his pitching doesn't do a Jekyll and Hyde.
Nice. There's your very nice, very nice.
I'll let myself out. I'm here till Thursday. Tip your waiters.
All right, so we had talked a little bit about the Division II tournaments. We really didn't talk all that much about D3 because Richie Giuliano chimed in to talk about Canfield. Let's get back to Division III. Crestview taking on South Range, and I made mention. Will the real Crestview Rebels please stand up? When they play their A game, they're not a bad baseball team. The problem is they haven't played their A game all that much this year, and they'll be going up against YSU recruits as South Range will throw Mr. Mikos to the Crestview Rebels. I think Crestview is going to counter with Sam Campbell. Obviously, South Range is the favorite, but this rivalry has a little bit of spice to it. It wouldn't surprise me if Crestview gave South Range a good game.
Hashtag Mr. Mikos. I can give you an update in Louisville. We are in the middle of the third inning, and Niles leads Salem 2-0.
Wow. All right.
So far, Niles has RBIs from nobody. The runs that have given up have been unearned runs.
So that would tell me that Salem is not playing well. Yeah, that's not good.
1 hit total in the game. So Niles has 2 runs on 1 hit, no errors.
Oh, boy.
And Salem has no runs on no hits and 2 errors.
Oh, boy. Yeah, see, playing the defense is so vitally important when you play 1 versus 1. Your ace against their ace. You got to have the defense. And unfortunately, right now, the defense is not there for Salem.
Plenty of time, though. You know, they're heading to the bottom of the third, and they're only down by 2. So if they can get that offense going, maybe get into Niles' bullpen. Who knows? Niles is pitching really well. Both teams are pitching really well. Only 1 hit surrendered total.
Yeah. So both pitchers are pitching reasonably well. I would say very well. Unfortunately, one offense isn't doing very well, or one defense isn't doing very well. And, well, because of that, that's why Niles has a 2-0 lead on Salem. And again, it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility for a 5 to upset a 2. And it really wouldn't be that monumental of an upset because Niles is a pretty good baseball team. And the difference between 5 and 2 really isn't all that much.
I think Salem would be kind of disappointed because they were the 2 seed and the other high seeds kind of went away from that district. So I think they went into that bracket feeling like they were the best team. And so it would be disappointing if they lost. But you're right. There's not too much difference between 2 and 5, especially in a sport like baseball where anything can happen.
Yeah, it will be very interesting to see what happens as they go a little further into that game. And, keep in mind, it's a 7-inning game. It's not a regular 9-inning baseball game. So you don't have 6 more innings. After the bottom of the third, you're down to your final 12 outs. You're starting to get into the latter stages of the game now.
That means you have, as the game goes on, you have to have more purpose on your at-bats. You can't waste outs. Got to be productive outs. If you're going to make outs, got to be productive. So hopefully, if you're a Salem fan, hopefully the Quakers can get a little bit more production from their at-bats and go up with a little bit more of a game plan. And if you're a Niles fan, you keep the line moving. You maybe score 2 more insurance runs, and the way that Christopher's pitching right now, 2 more insurance runs, that should be enough.
Yeah, you would think. I mean, unless they get the one bad inning that plagues everyone, you would think that is going to be it. I mean, first team to 4 may very well win that game, unfortunately. So if you're Salem, get to cracking here. You're starting to run out of time, but. Again, I mean, it's for us. This is anytime it's a battle between 2 teams that are in the YSN family, it's a win-win. Whoever moves on, okay. We feel bad for the team that loses, but we'll be behind the team that moves on, and hopefully that team will pick up the flag and vault yourself into the regionals.
We got a couple more of those too. I mean, we were talking about D3. I mean, Crestview versus South Range. Those are 2 proud YSN schools. 2 of the first 4 that we've had.
Yep.
And it's a shame that they have to kind of knock each other out because we'd love to see them both succeed. But that's what we live for.
That's it. That's it. I think
old-fashioned rivalries going at it in the district. I mean, we saw this. Back when South Range won the state tournament, they played Crestview in the district championship. So, meeting again, and I'm sure South Range is hoping that the history kind of repeats itself a little bit.
You know, it was. I think you were doing a softball tournament last week when I made this the comparison. When you go and that later this week we'll find out if we actually get the regional championship matchup everyone is hoping for in Division III. But if that does become a reality, that's the reason why YSN's in existence, for moments like that. And you know, the Super Size Me district tournament, that's the reason why South Range and Ursuline could very well be playing each other for a regional championship and not a district championship, because had we done the tournaments like we've have in the past, these two teams would have played each other in the district title game, and champion would have wound up going to the regionals along with the winner of this game. With the supersized regionals, there's a chance South Range and Ursuline have to do their job, but there's a chance these two teams play each other for a right to go to Akron and go to the state semifinals.
Yeah.
Moments like that, you got to be kidding me.
This is the first time since 2014 that we don't see champion in a regional tournament.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
once again, we talked a little bit with Dana, the run that program has had. Incredible.
Absolutely.
And even before 2014, when they missed the regional, they were the years before they were getting to the regionals and getting to state. So that was, by the way, I don't know how much you talked about that game on Friday when South Range beat champion. What a softball game.
Oh, yeah.
No errors.
Well played game.
Clean softball game.
Yep.
Cassidy Schaefer missed a game-tying home run by about 3 or 4 feet. Madison Dado made a heck of a catch at the wall. Our partners at 21 FMJ got a great shot at it. If you didn't see their highlights, you can go and find them on their website. Bree Kohler came up with the huge go-ahead home run in the 5th. It was just a back-and-forth tussle between two programs that are absolutely storied with success, and neither team wanted to lose that game. It was really fun to watch.
Yeah, it was. It was a great time. It was a damn shame one of those teams had to lose.
It was.
But you know what? The South Range is going to be a better team because of that game against a really good champion team. Now, having said that, South Range still has to win their regional semifinal game if they want a chance at possibly taking on Ursuline, who, like South Range, has to win their regional semifinal game in order for an all-local regional championship to take place. But there's two other teams in our area, one that's a YSN school and one that isn't. Yeah, West Branch has a shot.
They're playing. What I liked about West Branch is they won 3-1, and they just got really good pitching and timely hitting. That's all they needed to win it. It wasn't a flashy win. They didn't win 10-0. They didn't destroy the team. They won with what it takes to win in the next levels when you don't do that. So they're already winning games where they need timely hitting and they need good pitching. And some of these teams that just destroy their way through districts, eventually you hit a team where you need timely hitting and good pitching.
Yep.
And sometimes when you see teams like barrel their way through, when they all of a sudden need that, they can't get it because they're so used to just hitting at will that they can't really navigate games where they get 5 or 6 hits and they need to use those. West Branch has already gotten a couple of those with wins against Aurora and Field.
Yeah.
So they already know how to win in games like that. So it'll be really fun to see how they manage it as the tournament goes on. And they have a really tough Revere team playing at Firestone Stadium on Wednesday. So we'll see how that goes.
And interestingly enough, if West Branch were to knock off Revere, there is a chance they could be seeing a familiar foe in the regional championship. Although Worcester Triway will have something to say about it.
This is no. If any Marlington fans are watching, I'm sorry, but you guys, they got handed that district time, and I mean they kept finding ways to win, even though they were playing not great. I mean they gave up 28 runs in 3 games in that district tournament. It's not going to get it done. You got to play better if you're going to beat Worcester Triway. I guarantee that Worcester Triway will beat you if you let them score 10 runs, because that pitching staff is not going to let you run up the score on them. So Marlington better get it together because they pitched really well this season. They beat West Branch 3-2. They swept West Branch by pitching really well this year, so they gotta find a way to get their pitching back on track, because I guarantee if Triway scores 10,
yeah, you're not winning.
No, you're not winning.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, but there is the slight possibility that West Branch plays Marlington again, which would be absolutely incredible. By the way, two teams that have already moved on in Division II. Man, this is. I hope I'm reading this wrong. What is today's date? Today's the 24th, and they already have Greenville moving on to play Springfield Shawnee in the regional championships, which is weird because Springfield Shawnee and Greenville are supposed to be playing each other in the regional semifinals, but they already have on the website Springfield Shawnee and Greenville playing each other in a regional championship game, which wonders. The thing that I'm wondering now is, what the hell just happened to New Richmond and Hebron Lakewood? Did they both get a COVID outbreak and they're both eliminated? How does this happen? Unless someone is making a major faux pas on the OHSAA website.
What region is that?
That's Region 8. The regional semifinals were supposed to be Springfield, Shawnee, and Greenville, and they already have put into the regional finals at 12 noon on the 29th of May, Springfield, Shawnee, and Greenville, the two teams that are supposed to play each other in the regional semifinals. Either this is a giant faux pas on the website, or something just horrible happened to both New Richmond and Hebron Lakewood, to where they're both eliminated from the tournaments, and you now have a one-game regional championship game in Region 8 between Springfield, Shawnee, and Greenville.
Yeah, I see that too, and that those games were supposed to happen at Wednesday at 2 and 5, and it was supposed to be at Mason High School down in towards Cincinnati. That's unfortunately gonna have to do some research too.
Yeah, that's boy, what a horrible break that would be. Hebron Lakewood and New Richmond, both it would appear both eliminated from the tournaments. That's horrible. We'll definitely do some research on that. Don't take a timeout, because on the other side, we are going to be talking Scrappers baseball. It is opening day in the Major League Baseball Draft League. The Mahoning Valley Scrappers are in West Virginia, taking on the West Virginia Black Bears over in Morgantown, West Virginia. We will hear from Scrappers GM Jordan Taylor. That is coming up at the top of the hour, as we'll get Jordan on and we'll get his take on the beginning of a new era when it comes to baseball. The Major League Baseball Draft League is already underway. Game 1 of the triple-header today between Frederick and Trenton. That game is being played at Citizens Bank Ballpark in Philadelphia, the home of the Philadelphia Phillies. All right, we'll take a timeout, be back with more. It is a Monday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com.
Hi everyone, this is DJ Yoakley with Your Sports Network. We appreciate your support of YSN and welcome you to the YSN family. Our broadcast streams are brought to you live at no cost to you by sponsors that are local to this community. Without the vision and generosity of our sponsors and partners, we would not be able to bring this game to you today. So please support the great businesses and leaders that are making this game possible. And if you're a business in need of great advertising and sponsorship opportunities, feel free to head over to our site for more information on the right fit for you. We are local, we are loyal, and we are live. We are YSN.
News doesn't stop after the sun goes down. Sometimes you just have to hustle to get it. At 21 News, no matter how far it is, no matter what it takes to get there, we're working to bring you the best stories and the freshest content at 11 p.m. with the context and clarity that makes it worth staying up for, no matter what time it is. 21 News at 11 with me, Aaron Simonek, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 11, news that's worth your time.
WRS Wealth Advisors is the area's premier wealth and retirement specialist. With our combined 70 years experience and comprehensive wealth strategy, we assist our clients attain their goals. Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services, or visit wrswealthadvisors.com. Good luck, athletes!
Your first and last stop with your tax return should be with me, Tracy Bryden at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. No other dealer sells more cars, finances more, and gets you more for your refund than Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, we go the extra mile for you.
By finding you the right vehicle at the right price.
By giving you confidence in your vehicle with the Greenwood Advantage warranty.
By guaranteeing you financing,
regardless of your situation or credit history.
And by being with you for every mile of your journey.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, we do whatever it takes to go the extra mile. So, how can we go the extra mile for you?
Ah, the details. Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods is one fine ride. Perfect cornering, superb handling, sporty and stylish, power to spare, plus awesome mileage. Yeah, jaw-droppingly beautiful lines and well appointed with luxurious trim. Put more oomph in your life and start beholding the molding. Find your home's fine hardwood at BairdBrothers.com.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickey Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickey Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit DickeyElectric.com. That's DickeyElectric.com.
For heating, cooling, and indoor air quality, the Mahoning Valley trusts MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning, offering worry-free repair, service, and installation. Call MP Vivo today for a free estimate.
MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. We're your energy-efficient experts.
If you're looking for a new Ford vehicle, why shop anywhere else but Tri-State Ford? Choose from our great selection of new Ford models. Plus, we've got you covered with our exclusive Tri-State Ford Advantage. It includes a 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty with your new Ford. Come see why so many customers from the Tri-State area buy their new Ford at Tri-State Ford.
Customer focus, community driven. Tri-State Ford East Liverpool or visit tristateford.net.
Welcome back to a Monday edition of Running Point. Ron Potesta with you alongside Anthony Hartwig. It is opening day in the Major League Baseball Draft League. The Mahoning Valley Scrappers are in Morgantown, West Virginia, getting set to open up a 2-game series, weather permitting, with the West Virginia Black Bears. And joining me on this opening day, the general manager of the Mahoning Valley Scrappers, Jordan Taylor. Jordan, how are you today, my good man?
Doing good. Got the team out on the road this morning and excited to get the season underway.
Ben Belgrave is going to have his name etched in the memory banks of this inaugural campaign, as Ben Belgrave is going to get to start game number 1 of a 68-game inaugural Major League Baseball Draft League campaign for the Mahoning Valley Scrappers. This young man did pretty well for himself at McHenry County College.
He did. He had a nice season. More than a strikeout an inning pitched. Seems to be kind of a projectable starting pitcher at the next level. So we'll see how he shakes out tonight.
Tall drink of water too. 6'6", 195 pounds, right-hander. He'll pretty much hand the ball to the catcher as he's on the hill. He'll look more like a 7-footer with the hill being as big as it is.
Yep. So I mean, he's kind of has that classic pitcher's body. Maybe gets a little bit bigger once he gets into pro ball, fills out a bit, and probably will add a tick or two onto the fastball. And I think that's where you look at him, being a good starter candidate once he gets into the minor leagues.
When I was looking at your roster that released last night, one of the things that I thought was really cool about it is that you have a bunch of different people from different parts of the country. It's really diverse on where people are from, what walks of life they're from. How impressed are you with the ability to kind of get people from all around the country, and how important was that for you to putting this team together?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's a good representation of baseball throughout the country on not just our roster, but on all the teams in this MLB draft league. But was really, yesterday was the first chance we had an opportunity to watch them do a practice here before they hit the road today. And I mean, it was a very impressive group as far as the way they threw the baseball, and in particular the way they hit yesterday. It was very cool to watch how explosive the ball went off the bat with these guys.
Now, Major League Baseball is a draft that is draft-eligible kids are mainly American and Canadian. The worldwide draft, we don't have that. So kids that come out of Central America, Latin America, they're not part of this draft. If you're in Puerto Rico, you would be part of the draft because Puerto Rico is an American territory. In Jared Belbin's case, he is an Australian-born young man who decided to play in the States, went to Arizona Western JUCO, junior college player. So he is eligible for the draft, but he's not American. He's not Canadian. He's Australian. You will get some kids that are from another country, migrated into America to get a college education, and oh, by the way, we're going to play some baseball in America at a college, whether it be a junior college or whatnot. Those kids are going to be eligible for the draft as well.
They are, and that's really the most exciting group that I've seen. In with our team in particular, you look at some of the players from the junior colleges. Many of them are from pretty powerhouse schools on the JUCO level, and then have big time commitments to a major D1 school, and will have that choice. They'll play in this league, hopefully do really well and enhance their position in the draft, and then they'll have that decision to make. Do they accept whatever the signing bonus is at whatever round they were picked in, or do they go to college for maybe just for another year and really try to enhance their status with a big year at a D1 school?
When you look at you just got them in yesterday, they had their first practice yesterday. Give us a sense on how excited these guys are to be here, and what it was like to finally get them into a group and get them into the team and kind of meet everybody and kind of get them adjusted to the group and the team.
Yeah, it's a quick process. So I'd say the players to a man as they came in, they were really happy with being able to play at a facility like Eastwood Field. The thing that also really was kind of put them at home a bit was that how everything was right in the mall complex for them. Some were concerned that how they'd be getting around and getting to different places in the area, and that everything from their apartment was within walking distance. So that was a big plus for all of them as they came in here. And then yesterday just gave them a chance to work together as a group, meet each other. They most of these guys came in between Saturday and early Sunday morning, so they were really just thrown together pretty quickly here, and then hit the road this morning. And then as our season goes along here, we'll continue to have more players on our roster, and at that time you'll have some shakeout of some of the guys who are here now won't be with the team after a certain point in time.
Now, the interesting part of this league, and one of the other things that I would say for those wondering, well, you got rid of the New York Penn League, what the heck are you doing with this league? This league is different in that if someone is tearing this league up, they're not going anywhere. You're not going to see this kid promoted to low A ball because there's no promotion here. Keep tearing the league up. Keep building your draft capital, if you will. And, oh, by the way, I absolutely, positively love what MLB Draft League's slogan is this year with hashtag raise your stock. I absolutely love that.
Yep, yeah, it's cool, and this really has become, as Major League Baseball restructured the minor leagues, this really is the replacement for the New York Penn League, in terms of, the player development pipeline and how it works. It's just a different model and process, but, in terms of level of talent that you're going to have here, it's going to be very comparable to what was in the New York Penn League, on a year in and year out basis, especially once we start getting, some of the other players in here, over the next, couple weeks.
Last week the fans got their first chance to kind of get into Eastwood Field and get the sense of what the atmosphere was going to be like. Meet Coco Crisp, ask him the questions. How did that night go from your perspective, and how was it, for you to kind of see everyone come back into Eastwood Field and have excitement over Scrappers baseball again?
Yeah, it was nice. It's been a long time coming. Certainly one of the big pluses with this MLB Draft League is our manager this year, Coco Crisp, who has been here just a little bit over a week now, but has been really engaged and wants to do as much as he can to help the front office, but also to make sure these players are put in the best position possible and doing whatever he can to help that along. So that's always a good starting point for any season. So that's been great, and we've had YSU in here and high school games since I'd say mid-March, but this coming up here in a couple days with opening day, we're really looking forward to getting back to Scrappers baseball.
One of the things that impressed me an awful lot during the question and answer format, Coco was asked, what's your managing skills or what's your managing philosophy going to be? And he flat out said, look, this league is all about the kids trying to improve their draft stock. So I'm going to let these kids do whatever the hell they want to until they fail, and then I'm going to have to put shackles on them.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, these guys have played and gotten to a certain level to get to this point. So I think what you want to do is see and really analyze how they perform and the methods they go about, and then as tweaks need to be made, you can do that. But even yesterday, with the pitchers, there was really no adjustments to anything. It was just let's see what you can do. We'll watch, analyze, and then we'll come back to it after we get a handful of games in.
And I think one of the things that's so cool about having Coco Crisp as your manager is he had a lengthy and successful MLB career. So when he says this is what you need to do to meet this standard, or this is what it's going to take to be successful in the league, these kids can really know that he knows what he's talking about and he's not just blowing smoke. Like, they can look at his resume and say, oh, he knows what he's talking about. He's been there. He's done that. And that's got to add a little bit more of respect to the words that he says to them.
He does, and you can tell the players, even just yesterday, how much they look up to him and kind of hang on everything he says. And even as you go through the rest of our staff, our pitching coach Ron Mayhay had a very long decade-plus career in the big leagues as well. On the pitching side, it also had a unique story of making it to the big leagues as a hitter first, then went back down to the minors, became a pitcher, and then had a 10-plus year career in the big league. So it's another great story for our guys to look up to and see how hard you have to work to be a professional and get to the big leagues. And we're fortunate to have those two guys as great examples. And then Vic Butler, who's our hitting coach, had a very long career in the minor league, so he knows what it takes as well on that side of things.
I'm pretty sure Coco had Ron Mayhay in mind because he owned him as a pitcher.
Yeah, he made that comment. It was, I think, I forget what he said, but yeah, he was one of the few pitchers he hadn't gotten a hit off of with any, decent number of at-bats that he had against any one pitcher. So they've known each other for a long time. He's also known, Vic as well, and then we also have Craig Antush, who has been around for years with the Scrappers, and they have a good connection as well. So it's a very close-knit group of coaches that we have, which is always nice.
Yeah, and when you have a close-knit group of coaches like that, it's got to help with building team chemistry. I mean, you said it happens so fast. You throw them into a room together and then they're on the road. But they can look and see, hey, these coaches are clinging to each other and they're tight-knit. So it's got to be a little bit easier to gel as a team when your coaches are all on the same page.
It is. That's a good starting point, and it's actually funny as you go through and you think you're just putting these guys together and from all parts of the country, but it's amazing how many of them know each other or have some sort of a close connection just based on the high-level travel baseball circuit, or playing. Maybe they played against each other in college or from some general area where they had some connection. So it's funny watching that and seeing that some of these guys even know each other coming into this, where you'd think there would be no connection at all.
Jordan Taylor, the general manager of the Mahoning Valley Scrappers, joining us on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. Nothing says Scrappers baseball quite like the threat of rain. Mother Nature is potentially getting set to rear her ugly head in the opening homestand. Wednesday is the home opener, 7:05 game time, Military Appreciation Night at the Ball Yard. $2 pizza slices from Pizza Joe's. Post-game fireworks display as State College comes to town. Hopefully, knock on wood, we have everything taken care of. The Mother Nature is going to cooperate. I know that the tickets are limited because we're not going to be in the post-COVID rules according to the state of Ohio. So how many tickets are available for the home opener and the first homestand?
Yeah, we still have tickets available for all games. Some, obviously are a little lighter than others, but there's still availability for all games. And as far as the weather goes, it seems like it's looking a little bit better than even it was, this morning. And today I woke up and we were expecting to throw the tarp on the field this afternoon, and it doesn't look like we're going to have to do so. So I mean, it changes so much. You never know, and our field can take a lot of weather. So we will be hopeful that things will work on our favor and get everything in on Wednesday.
Because building this roster, we were told that there would be geographical placements. If someone was close to the Scrappers, they would be put in the Scrappers. So how much of building this roster for you as the general manager went into evaluating and picking, and then how much of it was this kind of, we want you to take this player because he's geographical? I mean, he obviously earned a spot here, but he's also geographically close to the Scrappers, so we're going to put him there.
Yeah, there's was some of that, and you'll see. So, there's a handful of, I would say, players with more local connections that'll be coming onto the roster once their college seasons end. So right now, it doesn't appear there's a ton of local connections on the roster. There's a couple kids who have are from the Cleveland area. We have another player who has relatives that live in the general area, so they were assigned to us, but really you're just looking for the best players available, and if they just happen to get an invitation into the league and they have that connection, that's where they get slotted to us.
Jordan, before we let you go, obviously this first homestand is going to be an awful lot of fun. You've got Military Appreciation Night every Wednesday, Buck Nights, which is a Thursday night staple, post-game fireworks every Friday. Saturday, you've got the Superstars coming into town, and then on Sunday, the first of many, Every Sunday Matters at the ballpark. Kind of gloss over everything that is going to be happening in this first homestand at Eastwood Field.
Yeah, so definitely a lot, just like you said, what tends to be the most popular are the fireworks. So we have two of those on Wednesday and Friday. Then followed up in popularity would be Buck Night, which is Thursday evening. So that should be a great night to come out with dollar hot dogs, drinks, and general admission tickets. And then you mentioned Saturday the Superstars, which are a fun, traveling, family-oriented minor league act with big, inflatable characters that'll be performing throughout throughout the inning breaks and pregame, so that's always a fun one. And then on Sunday is our promotion where if you bring in a donation of a canned good, you get a free general admission ticket for the Sunday game.
Not to mention the fact that this Sunday we have the Rolling Through the Decades Day, where the PA music is going to be nothing but 1960s music. Can we just flat out say right now a lot of Motown?
Sure, I'll put the request in for you.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm gonna have so much fun with this groovy music. Just some '60s lingo coming out of the break to describe the music, and it'll be groovy.
Good deal.
Yeah, absolutely. We also got to throw out Thursday night Strikeout Stroke Night. What is Strikeout Stroke Night?
Yeah, so we've partnered with some hospitals, the local hospitals in the area, and basically it's going to be a big PSA announcement, I guess you would say, for stroke awareness. So there will be tips provided throughout the game, recognition of stroke survivors throughout the game, and just generally building awareness on what are the signs of stroke and how to react if that becomes an issue for you.
Okay, and then we got to go back to opening night because every Wednesday is going to be $2 pizza slices. You immediately have my attention. Pizza Joe's, you immediately have my attention. They're on board, and there's nothing better than good pizza. And I kidded Coco when I introduced myself to him. I asked if he liked pizza, and he said, yeah. I said, oh, you're going to love it here.
Yep, yeah, this is the best place for pizza, bar none. And then also on Wednesday, if you bring a military ID, you get 2 free tickets for the game, and that's for every Wednesday home game this year.
Okay, so my father is a military guy. He was in the Army National Guard in the 50s and 60s, and my mom had said, in previous years they just gave us the tickets for the whole every Wednesday. Is it going to be in that situation as well?
Yeah, if they come up and just show the ID and say they'd want them for each game, that's no problem. We can take care of it all at once.
Wow, and the other thing that I remember very fondly about the Scrappers back when they were the affiliate and even now, community outreach and the things that you do for the community with stuff like that, with the stroke awareness. I mean, how much of a premium did you guys, when you knew you were coming back, want to keep your community outreach and say we still have to do it the same way we used to?
Yeah, that's always important. That's other than the baseball, I think that's one of the kind of cornerstones of the franchise is trying to do as much as we can in the community and promote different causes. And obviously with the pandemic made it a little bit tougher over the last year. But as things loosen up, we're really looking forward to doing things the way they were pre-pandemic on being out in the community and mascot appearances and awareness nights and walks at the ballpark. So it's exciting to be getting back into that this year.
A new era of baseball coming to Eastwood Field beginning on Wednesday night. It starts tonight in Morgantown, West Virginia. It's an exciting time, and the beautiful thing about this is the roster that we have now, much like in minor league baseball, it's not going to be the same at the end of the year. There's always going to be changes, but I'll contend to say if you're tearing up this league, you're not going anywhere, and that's probably the best message that we'll be able to send our fans, because I don't know how many people have said, oh, look, I mean, we just got used to this kid, and now he just got promoted to Lake County. There's no promotions in this league.
There's not, and I mean, that was always one of the biggest challenges we had as far as being able to promote specific players is we really never knew how long they would be here. And, all it took was an injury in Columbus, and then you just have the ripple effect throughout the system of moving players up and down or whatever else. And, we could lose, 3 or 4 prime candidates on one day. And that, certainly has happened in the past. And, our team that was in first place started to struggle, and everyone would ask why. And it's like, well, we lost 3 or 4 players, 2 starters, and, then the replacements weren't quite as strong as the guys we had at the start.
I'm glad you brought up the whole first place thing, because I do have to ask one more question before we let you go. And, of course, Scrappers GM Jordan Taylor joining us on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. So the regular season ends on Friday night, August the 13th. West Virginia's in town, fireworks after the game. Is it the top two teams that play the championship game, Jordan?
So normally, yes. This year, all of minor leagues and the affiliated brands are not doing playoffs this year. So it will be whoever is the best record this year, but as we navigate into next year, then yes, that's the way it'll work.
Now, I got to ask, because obviously there's a lot of folks that are wondering, well, why are we starting this so early, given the fact that their colleges aren't finished yet. There's conference tournaments this week and next week. High school tournaments are still going on. Do you think Major League Baseball is going to adhere to this date, or are they going to say, you know what, let's move this a little further into June and stretch the season out until the end of August?
Yeah, I think that's possible. I definitely would be on the table for sure moving forward. I think for everybody it would be, the more time we have, the better. I certainly prefer playing now and finishing in mid-August than carrying into September like we did previously. But nothing. I wouldn't see any problem with starting June 1st and finishing August 20th. I think that would really put us in a good spot.
Yeah, look, as long as we don't have to go up against the two stalwarts of the Valley, and that's the Canfield Fair and high school football, I think this is one of the many reasons why this league is going to work. The fact that it's completed 2 weeks before the first football game will be played, and 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks before the Canfield Fair. So, obviously, I think this is a perfect scenario.
Yep. Nope. Yeah, we were very happy with the reformatted schedule. So definitely want to keep it close to what it is, but maybe with push it back a week wouldn't be the worst thing.
Yeah, let's keep our fingers crossed and pray to the weather gods that we have good baseball weather this week.
I hear you. We're doing everything we can to try to make sure that happens. But that's the one promotion that's the best promotion is good weather for us. So.
Amen to
The
that.
more days of that, the better off we end up doing.
Always a pleasure. I look forward to being there on Wednesday night, and I'm really looking forward to the season.
Great. Same here, and I'll look forward to seeing you as well Wednesday.
All right. Take it easy, Jordan.
Yep, you too.
All righty. Jordan Taylor, General Manager of the Mahoning Valley Scrappers. I understand that, the roster, okay, we're not getting the players that everyone is thinking of right now, but I love the scheduling right now, because you're going to be finished 2 weeks before high school football begins.
And, reminding everyone that if you want to listen tonight through YSN, ysnlive.com/scrappers, we'll have a link to the West Virginia Black Bears. That's right.
West Virginia Black Bears.
We'll have a link to their broadcast, and it'll just be simulcast because, as we've said before, because of COVID, Scrappers broadcasters aren't traveling with the team, so you won't be broadcasting tonight.
Yeah, none of the visiting broadcasters are traveling with the team, unfortunately.
So we will have the Black Bears broadcast linked on the YSN Scrappers page.
Yep, absolutely. So the West Virginia Black Bears are hosting the Scrappers at 7:05 tonight. So tune in around 7 o'clock. You can go to ysnlive.com/scrappers. Hell, they may even have a 15-minute pregame show like us. So 6:50.
They're fancy.
They could be fancy. You never know.
Update from Louisville.
Yes.
Salem offense woke up and made it 5-3, but Niles with a big top of the fifth. They have tied it up 5-5, and they have a runner on second with nobody out in the top of the fifth, tied up at 5.
Well, this pitching matchup all of a sudden became a offensive juggernaut matchup. Wow, that got ugly in a hurry.
Salem scored 5 runs in the bottom of the third. So right after I said it was 2-0.
Yeah.
Salem erupted with 5. But then Niles answered with another run in the fourth, and now so far 2 in the fifth, and they've tied it up at 5.
All right, there you go. So a 5-5 tie, top of the fifth inning in Louisville, and again, it's a 7-inning affair. High school baseball is a 7-inning affair. So we're running out of time, but boy, this sounds like an exciting game for sure.
All 5 runs are earned for Christopher, for Niles, and now when last time we said none of the runs were earned, but
yes.
Now for Wilms, 3 out of the 5 runs are earned.
Okay, so the offense for Niles has picked it up a little bit, where they were gifted 2 runs early on. Those next 3 runs are earned runs off of Wilms.
5 runs, 6 hits, no errors for Niles so far. 5 runs, 5 hits, 2 errors for Salem.
Okay, so that's where we are, tied at 5, top of the 5th inning. That's a doozy. Winner of that game is going to get the winner of the Battle of Chardon between the Hilltoppers and Notre Dame Cathedral Latin.
YSNlive.com/live games. You can find that one, catch the end of it, and the money you pay to watch the end of that one will get you into all the other games tonight. So if you were like, I don't want to pay that money for just watching the last 2 innings of this game, and then no. That money gets you easy access to all the district semifinals that we have on the network tonight as well.
Speaking of which, we will tell you how many games we got and where we're going to be and all that other good stuff coming up after this timeout. It's a Monday edition of Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, we go the extra mile for you.
By finding you the right vehicle at the right price.
And by being with you for every mile of your journey.
Visit greenwoodchevrolet.com and tell us how we can go the extra mile for you.
New things happen all day. Some are good, some not so good. In today's complicated world, while you're busy working, playing, and living life, we're busy helping you make sense of the day's news. And there's only one place where it comes together with clarity, context, and accountability. It's 21 News at 6 with me, Madison Tromler, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 6. It's what the day's news really means to you.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Hi, this is Jim Myers with Myers Family Insurance, your local Medicare and retirement resource. We're excited to have sports back. Whether you're on the field or cheering from the stands, sports unifies communities and brings hope for the future. We're all one team working together. At Myers Family Insurance, we know the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is October 15th through December 7th. Now's the time to make sure your plan continues to meet your needs for the upcoming year.
Call today.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
At Hubbard Chevrolet, Hubbard can help you get the financing you need regardless of your situation. I'm Tony Page, and I've helped thousands of customers in Northeast Ohio and Western Pennsylvania buy a vehicle. Bad credit, no problem. I can get you approved for a low-interest loan and maybe even a low-payment lease on a new car at the #1 Chevy dealership in Trumbull County for 3 years in a row. Visit HubbardChevy.com to get pre-approved or come see me, Tony Page, to get a new vehicle today. Remember, folks, Hubbard can help.
Your first and last stop with your tax return should be with me, Tracy Bryden at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. No other dealer goes the extra mile to bring you the largest selection of vehicles at one convenient location. With guaranteed credit approval, I will find you the right vehicle and the right financing options for you. I am ready to go the extra mile to show you why no other dealer sells more cars, finances more, and gets you more for your refund than Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Quality, customer service, and integrity.
Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
Jimmy Sudman here, Director of IO, Purple Cat, and Golden String. We are happy to support YSN and 2 of my favorite people, Scotty Mincher and Super Dave O'Malley. We are an agency that provides services for adults with disabilities. We infuse humor, passion, and joy into their lives. If you know of any folks with disabilities that need our assistance, please contact us.
Your teams work hard and give it all they've got. Well, so does ours, because 21 Sports and YSN give you extra effort when covering local sports. 21 Sports and YSN, winning coverage of our Valley's teams.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
Welcome back to a Monday edition of Running Point. Ron Potesta with you alongside Anthony Hartwig. All right, so they're in the bottom of the 3rd inning in the opening game of the Major League Baseball Draft League from Citizens Bank Ballpark in Philadelphia. Trenton has a 1-0 lead on Frederick. The story of this game are the 2 pitchers, the 2 starters. Dylan Hyde, who went to school at Pitt Johnstown, he is on the mound for Trenton. He has 6 punch-outs through 3 innings, throwing the fastball 92 to 94 miles an hour. Meanwhile, on the hill for the Frederick Keys, a little erratic in terms of his location, but Louis Guerrero sitting at 92 to 95 miles an hour with a, from what I've been told, explosive slider. So these 2 are doing battle. The Thunder are on the board on a wild pitch from Guerrero, and the Trenton Thunder have taken a 1-0 lead at Citizens Bank Ballpark in game number 1 of the inaugural Major League Baseball Draft League season. Scrappers are playing the final game of the 3 games today at 7:05 against West Virginia. We're saving the best for last.
Niles took a 7-5 lead in that 5th with a 4-run 5th inning. So now they lead 7-5 going into the bottom of the 5th over Salem.
Okay, and the winner of that game gets the winner of Chardon and Notre Dame Cathedral Latin, the Battle of Chardon going on. And that'll be the nightcap over at Louisville. And we made mention in the first hour, the top 2 seeds are Salem and Niles. The top 2 seeds that are left in this district tournament are Salem and Niles. So one would think whoever wins the game against Salem and Niles would be slightly favored to win the district championship based upon seeds. But again, that's not really the greatest representation to go by, but on paper, which no games are played on, but on paper, the winner of the Salem-Niles game would be the highest seed left in the district championship game.
Yeah, and we talked about Notre Dame Cathedral Latin and the fact that they play a brutal schedule, and so does Chardon. So their seeds could be very misleading. We never know. Both offenses, I didn't expect this Salem game to be a high-scoring affair.
Yeah, this is not what I expected. I expected a very low-scoring game.
Through 3 innings, there was 1 hit combined, and the floodgates kind of opened, and the offenses both made adjustments. Props to both offenses. Now they're scoring without the help of errors, and we've seen 12 runs combined
Yeah, this is turning into a slugfest, which going into the tournament, I didn't think this was going to happen. I thought this would be a 2-1, 3-2 type of game.
We were a little wrong. I mean, we said first 4 wins.
Yeah, well,
7-4.
4 ain't going to win anything, as it turns out. So there you go. As far as district baseball, Division II at Scene Park, these games are going to be played on Field 1. That is the first field as you go into the main parking lot. It's that field. The main parking lot is further up from Field 3. There's a Field 3 parking lot, and then you go up the road a little bit. The main parking lot, which is a lot bigger, that's where Field 1 is.
And here are the playoff games we will have on the network tonight. Once again, $9.99 gets you not just that game, but every game that's on the network. So, of course, Salem versus Niles is going on at Louisville. DJ Yoakley is there calling it now. You can still get into that game for $9.99 and then catch the end of that, and then also get all the next games for that price. Canfield versus Marlington on Scene 1. Richie Giuliano will have that call. Mooney versus Garfield will be taking Scene 2. Both those games are at 4 o'clock, and Andy will be calling that Mooney-Garfield game. Brennan Miller is heading to Niles. He will call Champion versus Rootstown at 4, and then he will call South Range versus Crestview after. Well, 4:30 actually is the start for that Champion game. Springfield versus Berkshire is going to be after the after the Mooney-Garfield game on Scene 2, and Andy will have the call of that one as well.
All right, so we got everything covered with Scene 1 and Scene 2. And we'll also have B-League baseball from Scene 3, if I'm not mistaken.
We also have 2 14U B-League games at 5:30 and 8 o'clock. Both those taking place on Scene 3. And Alec will be on those calls.
There you go. Oh, boy. That's baseball, and more baseball. The B-League games are free. The tournament games, the $9.99 pay-per-view wall comes up because we're getting charged from the OHSAA with everyone else. Everyone's getting charged for advertiser broadcasting fees rights to do the games, which, understandable. So we will hopefully all of you will be able to check out a bunch of really good baseball.
Your purchase helps us be able to do more games in the future. If the OHSA continues to decide to charge us, if we are able to break even, then we don't have to scramble for money down the road. So if you want to support YSN and support what we do to help get the athletes out there and to broadcasting regular season games, got to help us out here a little bit and pay that $9.99.
Yeah, and for those that are not able to go over to Scene Park or Niles or Louisville, this is the perfect venue. This is the perfect opportunity for you to still be very much finger on the pulse of your alma mater, of the school that you currently attend, or just a fan of baseball and you want to see Canfield take on Marlington and the pitching matchup, which is supposed to be unbelievable. As a matter of fact, I'm very tempted to drive myself down to Scene when we get out of here so I can see that matchup, because this could be a low-scoring affair. Now, having said that, our track record today is kind of a little off-kilter. So it might be an offensive explosion. Who knows? But you
definitely don't know, because errors could happen or something funky could happen.
Yeah, but the point being, if you're not able to go to a game, if you're working or if you're working from home, which seems to be the theme these days, you can certainly check out the ball game without having to leave the comforts of home, and it'll be a lot of fun, and you're helping a good cause.
The price that you would pay to get into one gets you into all six.
Yeah, 6 games.
So you can't beat it. That's...
Yeah, absolutely not. So this is a golden opportunity for the people to check out tournament baseball. And again, the pay-per-view wall is going to be up all week long with the district tournaments and softball regional tournaments. Are you going to be doing any games?
I'll be at That's why I won't be here on Wednesday. YSU regional start at 2, so I'll be there doing the Ursuline game at 2, and then South Range following. So,
all right, there you go.
And Brian is already locked in to go up to Firestone to do the West Branch game. So we have all 3 regional semifinals covered for softball on Wednesday.
There you go.
And hopefully we have 2 on Saturday.
Hopefully we're at least we don't have any guarantees. You're right. Hopefully we're going to have 2 games. And people would say, well, why not 3? Well, if Ursuline and South Range both win their semifinal game, they play each other. So it would be 2 games instead of 3.
Which has been what people have been clamoring for all season. If you're a softball fan in the Valley, you want to see South Range versus Ursuline. You want to see Bree Kohler versus Emily Holland. You want to see that lineup of Ursuline try to hit Bree Kohler. You want to see, everything. I mean, it'll be fun. It'll be fun.
Well, hopefully we get to see that.
Happens.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we get to see that. And we certainly will want to wish the best to Matthews as well. They're not in the YSN family, but they are in the Mahoning Valley. Damn shame that they're not playing McDonald, but you got to tip your hat to East Canton and say,
we said East Canton was a monkey wrench in that district.
Yeah,
so
they're good.
They're really good. They got to Bree Callow a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit was enough with their pitching staff. And what about what Matthews did in that district? I mean, Brookfield came in hot. They beat the Lisbon Blue Devils, who we thought was the biggest challenge to Matthews, and Matthews just went.
Yeah. Come on, go away. We're headed
to because the question has been like, can Matthews go up against quality competition and come out on top because of their schedule? Brookfield had a much better schedule than Matthews. They played Champion twice. They played Crestview. They played LeBray. I mean, they played a lot of up schools. And Matthews didn't care one bit.
Matthews they're playing some good ball, and they were ranked in the top 5 in the last coaches poll. Clearly, the coaches know what they're talking about because that looked every bit as good as a top 5 program would in Division III or Division IV.
Matthews might make a trip to Firestone. I mean, they're playing in Firestone already, but you know what I mean. They might make the ultimate trip to Firestone.
Well, forget about 2020 for a second because we didn't have a sport. We didn't have a season. When was the last time we have not had a softball team go to the state semifinals?
Well, we had Champion, so it's not even fair.
Yeah, exactly.
And that year we didn't have Champion. We had South Range.
We had South Range because they beat Champion in 2015.
And then we had Poland before that with Aaron Gabriel.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
I mean, I'm thinking it's been close to a decade since we have had, other than 2020, I think it's been close to a decade since we have had no representation in the state semifinals.
Maybe 2014 because Champion got knocked out of the districts, and I think Aaron Gabriel was absolutely out of Poland. Her senior year was 2012, so maybe like that 2014 year.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do some investigating
do
on
some
this.
Research.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do some investigating on that because I seem to believe
I
that
know Kernan took Ursuline there at some point, but I feel like that was like 2009, 2010.
Yeah, it seems to me that we've had a team in the state semifinals every year for the last at least 10 years. Even if it was 2014,
it's the last 6 years, which is still impressive.
Oh, absolutely, it is. It's absolutely impressive. So I'm going to be real curious to see how long it's been because I know the OHSAA does a really good job of their website and keeping up their website in terms of the past history of teams and whatnot. So I'm going to be taking time out because I'm curious about this. And also break down the games one more time that we're going to have. We'll take a time out, be back with more. Stick around on this Monday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com.
Hello, I'm Greg Burbick with G. Burbick Farms. For the last 100 years, my family has farmed in the Columbiana and Mahoning counties. I began raising cattle in 1996 with the goal of providing a better product for you and your family on the dinner table. Our grass-fed and grain-supplemented Black Angus beef are raised with no hormones, steroids, or antibiotics. We're known for our hometown-friendly service and incredible tasting products. We're locally owned and have customers across the tri-state area. Our products go from our farm to your family. Stop by our farm on New Buffalo Road or visit us on the web at gburbickfarms.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. G. Burbick Farms, it just tastes better.
This is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsuranceSolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
If you're looking for a quality pre-owned vehicle, why shop anywhere else but Tri-State Ford? Choose from our great selection of pre-owned vehicles. Plus, we've got you covered with our exclusive Tri-State Ford Advantage. It includes a 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty with your pre-owned vehicle and much more. Come see why so many customers from the Tri-State area buy their pre-owned vehicle at Tri-State Ford.
Customer focus, community driven. Tri-State Ford East Liverpool or visit tristateford.net.
No matter what the weather, be prepared with a reliable, efficient Ruud gas furnace or air conditioner from MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Call your energy efficient expert, MP Vivo, today for a free estimate.
Here at MP Vivo, we rely on Ruud, and so should you.
It's storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air.
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online.
All right, let's talk high-risk futurecast and the timing of this weather.
On social media and on our app.
Rain will come and go tomorrow. There'll be some dry intervals.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Myers Family Insurance knows the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is October 15th through December 7th. Now's the time to make sure your plan continues to meet your needs for the upcoming year.
Call today.
"60 years ago, Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods began with 3 siblings, a hand-set sawmill, and a few local orders. And while business has certainly changed over the years, what has not are our principles of hard work, craftsmanship, and commitment to quality. At Baird Brothers, we're proud to put our name on the products we create, from moldings and doors to flooring and lumber. Thank you for 60 great years. We look forward to 60 more. Baird Brothers, for the place you love."
Tri-State Ford announces our 96-hour Memorial Day sales event. 4 days of huge savings on every vehicle. Get top dollar for your trade or sell us yours. Attention, current lessees of all makes and models. Turn in your lease early and get up to $2,500 trade equity. Plus, our exclusive Tri-State Ford Advantage includes a 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Don't miss this event.
Customer focus, community driven. Tri-State Ford East Liverpool or visit tristateford.net.
Welcome back to a Monday edition of Running Points. I've learned through the last year or so with you and I doing the show together, when we're talking about softball, never ever doubt one Anthony Hartwig. In fact, 2014 was the last year that we did not have a team from the area, and the area being Trumbull, Mahoning, Columbiana counties, or one of our teams, Louisville, which would be outside of our area, in the state semifinals. Division 1 was North Canton, Hoover, Lebanon, Grove City, and Elyria. Division 2 was Lima Bath, Talmadge, Jonathan Alder, Newark, Licking Valley. Division 3 was Williamsport, Westfall, Richmond, North Union, Bloom, Carroll, and Akron, Manchester. And D4, Cuyahoga Heights, Haviland, Wayne Trace, Minster, and Bainbridge, Paint Valley. So there you go. So it's been 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 5 straight years. And hopefully a 6th year for us.
You had a good chance.
Got a good shot.
Three teams there. One team just has to win twice.
Yeah, we get a good shot. Look, I mean, if South Range and Ursuline can both win, then we're guaranteed a team to go to the state semifinals.
And you never want to overlook people, but we do want to, those other districts that South Range and Ursuline are playing were upsets. They're upsets to get into this game.
Oh, yeah.
They weren't the top seed in the bracket. Tuslaw nor Brookside were top seeds in their bracket. They both upset teams to get here. Doesn't mean they're any less of a team. It doesn't mean they're not going to come up and play really well. But they weren't the favorites. So we'll see how that turns out.
Absolutely.
Massillon, who in normal years would have a home game here, they'd be playing in Massillon because Massillon, Washington has been the host for Division 3 for a long time. Now Massillon has to come down to Youngstown.
Dana Bullis just tweeted this out. I'm told the MLB Draft League, which starts tonight for the Scrappers, will start extra innings with runners on first and third with one out.
What?
Okay. Interesting.
All right. We don't want to do it second no out. Let's do it first and third with one out.
Okay. All right.
See how the kids can do, that's major situational hitting.
Yeah. Boy, no kidding on that one.
Okay.
Again, it's 9 innings. You're not going to be doing 7 innings, so it's 9 innings of baseball. Maybe they're doing this to save the pitching, which early on, again.
I wonder what's the higher odds of scoring, first and third with one out or second with no outs?
I would think
Probably first and third with no out, because then all you have to do.
Yeah, first and third with one out. Just hit a fly ball deep enough to get the guy from third base home.
Right, you don't even have to worry about moving him over.
Yeah. I mean, the situational hitting of getting a ball deep enough to score the runner from third.
Having a guy at first gives the defense a little bit of advantage, because then they can trade one run for 2 outs.
Well, here's the other thing. What if someone hits a hot smash up the middle, turns it into a 4-6-3 or a 6-4-3 inning-ending double play, and that runner at third base is stranded?
Right.
So it's, I don't particularly care for it, but I understand why, especially early in the campaign when your colleges and high schools, you're not seeing the finished product with the roster because of the fact that we're still playing high school and college baseball. So, but per Dana Bullis, and I'll read the tweet again before we get out of here, I'm told the MLB Draft League, which starts tonight for the Scrappers, will start extra innings with runners at first and third and one out. Don't know if that's official, but that's entertaining to say the least. If you are listening to the game tonight, go to ysnlive.com/scrappers, and you will automatically be put into the feed for the West Virginia Black Bears, who are going to be broadcasting these 2 games for the Scrappers as well as the home team, the West Virginia Black Bears.
Final update from Salem before we go. Salem has come back with a 3-run bottom of the 5th. They now lead 8-7 in the top of the 6th. They're going to go to the top of the 6th with an 8-7 lead. So a back and forth offensive affair in Louisville. Salem answers Niles' 4-run 5th with a 3-run 5th of their own and lead 8-7 going into the 6th.
First team to 10 wins?
It's wild.
Yeah, that's crazy. All right, Power Hour's coming up next. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. We will talk tomorrow, noon to 3, Tuesday edition of Running Point.